good beat? Hopefully, this is this your boy N-O-R-E.
What up, it's DJ EFN.
This is Drink Champs Yap Yap. Make some noise! We have today one of the best execs of all time. One of the most respected executives of all time. He's here still monkey foot in the game. He's promoting shows and doing tours and doing all type of things that's going on. He's been rewinding time as well. In case you don't know who we talking about my friend, the one and only, Steve Rifkind. Now, Steve, let me ask you, because you had one of the craziest runs with Loud, right? But let's suppose we had a chance to reverse that. And you was an artist.
Rewind.
Yeah. And you was an artist. Knowing all you know now, what would be a label you would sign to? That's a good question.
Yes, it is.
I do the vodka.
Labels that are right now?
Either or. Either back then or...
Do both. Do both.
Pick
from back then.
Yeah,
Back then, I would sign to Loud because the artist always came
okay,
first.
you bigging up yourself. I respect that.
And then I love what Top does. TDE.
Oh, TDE. Yeah. Okay.
Dope.
Did you go when Kendrick and Drake was battling? Who'd you go for?
I mean, I didn't really go for anybody.
You didn't?
No, I thought it was just good for hip hop.
Yeah. Was you excited by it?
I was in Vegas, right? While this whole thing was going on,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I was entertained.
Right. Because you was down with Mobb Deep, and Mobb Deep was going at Tupac, and that was like a little bit more serious.
So
Okay.
I don't know if you know this.
Let's go.
Pac was my roommate.
What the fuck? wait, time out. Wait, okay, hold on. You gotta describe. You can't just
I don't think
say shit
anybody
like
knew
that. I don't think no one knew that. Okay, go ahead.
So on his first album,
Okay.
Interscope hired me. He wasn't on death row. He was on a label called it was Adrian Gregory's label.
Okay.
This is after Digital Underground?
Yeah, it was after Digital Underground,
Right.
and Interscope just started, and they hired me
Wow.
to do all the street team and all the marketing for it. So we set up a promotion tour.
Oh, I don't want that.
Thursday
Regular limits.
to Sunday.
Yeah.
So we'd get back out late Sunday night or first thing Monday morning. So he would stay with me, and I had like a townhouse in Studio City. And I mean, and he would come to the office with me, he would pack records with me, and it would be me, this kid Faye Duvernay, and it would be, and our assistant Lisa, and it would be us on the floor shipping, packing records. I mean, he was a worker. Like, he worked his ass off.
Wow, that's so. Just to be clear for the audience, this is you before Loud, before SRC.
It was SRC, but the market was the Stephen Rifkind Company, not SRC Records.
Okay.
And Loud just started.
Loud just started.
Yeah.
But they hadn't taken off yet.
No.
So you're with Interscope, and this is him after Digital Underground. He's about to get, or he got his deal with Interscope.
He had his deal with Interscope. This is Brenda's Got a Baby, Trapped.
Right.
Everything else.
Wow.
Yo, that's amazing. Thank you.
What were those conversations like with him?
He just wanted to work and win. Like,
Right.
I mean, literally, he would, we would sit on the floor, we would pack records, we typed the letter, he would sign the name, he would put the letter in the envelope, and boom, he would smoke cigarettes, weed, whatever it was. Our office was on Melrose, and there was a fast food, there's a restaurant called Johnny Rockets right across the street.
Yeah, of course, Johnny Rockets.
Right?
So good ass turkey burgers.
So we would go back. I mean, we would stay there till 10, 11 o'clock at night, then go to the crib, right?
That's incredible.
Tuesday was radio day, and then we'd be on the road on Wednesday.
Did you guys maintain a relationship after those times?
Yeah, so this is what I was going to say. So I went to see Tony Rich perform at the House of Blues one night.
Oh, Tony Rich, Oakland artist, right?
I don't know if he was an Oakland artist.
Okay.
I know he was signed to LaFace.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
And I'm walking through, and I get smacked in the back of my head. So I got a bald head. So I don't know if it's a love tap or if it's a real smack, right? And it's him.
Right.
And I'm looking at him because you don't say hello. And I'm like, man, I don't know where I stand with you.
Oh, you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he goes, oh, you talking about them? He goes, man, I'm just messing with them so I could be relevant.
Whoa. So Tupac saying that about Mobb Deep.
Yeah, he loved them.
Wow. I can see that too. I can actually see that.
That's crazy.
Has there ever been an artist that you had the opportunity to sign and you didn't sign and you regret it?
Yeah.
Who?
Jay.
No.
I think you mentioned this.
Yeah, I think he did mention this. Okay.
Jay, M.
Okay. M?
But Jay by himself, or was it Original Flavor with him down with Original Flavor?
No, Original Flavor was on Atlantic. Jay was Rockefeller.
So it was, okay.
Dame came to the office. We wanted to do the deal, and BMG wouldn't let us do the deal because they were trying to build their stuff up.
Right.
They were like, it's not going to happen. And they wanted a JV. I was like, give them a JV and just give us an over.
Joint venture for those who don't know.
Well, a JV is a joint venture.
Yes. Holy shit. Imagine.
Imagine Rockefeller flourishing under Loud. Like,
but I also had Gotti before.
Irv or Yo Gotti?
Irv.
Okay.
Before Leo and Russell got him.
Wow.
And he'll tell you that too.
Wow. Was that after he was with
Cash
Blunt
Money
Records?
Click, right? Wasn't it Cash
No,
Money
that was Mike Geronimo. So
wow.
So we were going to sign Mike. We couldn't get the sample cleared.
Right. Holy moly.
And,
guacamole.
So they say timing's everything, right?
Yep.
So
You were going to say Mike Jerome before Blunt Records?
yeah, way before.
And Irv brought him to you?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. So we were in Paris,
Yes, we were.
and I got to see one of the most amazing shows, period. I don't want to say hip hop shows. I'm talking about amazing show, period. Like I watch, you know, I always pick this up, but I watched Wu-Tang and Nas, like no opening act, just these guys sell out the whole arena. But it looked like it looked like a documentary. It looked like they weren't there. That's how good it was.
Right.
And I remember one part of the show, RZA stops the show, and he goes, Steve Rifkind, he stops and he bigs you up. And I start to think, what other artists grew with their CEOs like how y'all grew together? I don't think there's too many people that exist.
I mean, me and Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about other than you, motherfucker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Russell and LL.
Russell and LL. Lior and Jay a little bit.
Yeah, you know, and you got to go Jimmy and Dre.
Yeah,
Jimmy and Dre. I didn't think of it because I do look at Dre, even though he's a phenomenal producer, phenomenal artist. I do look at his business mind more with Jimmy.
You know, I mean,
but that's beautiful, man.
Right, and then
Darren DMX.
Who?
Darren D. Rough Riders.
Yeah, but they more
you know,
different.
or then maybe Stout and Nas.
They don't really work together still. I think they do deals, but I don't think they work together.
But they're still close.
Yes. I think that's beautiful. Like, to grow with the artist, y'all grow in time, you know what I mean? You get to know each other's kids, you get to know each other's wives and things like that. But I was so blown away at how he was so articulate and so like I believed him. You know how somebody like, you know, would say something to like, you pick a person up. And I looked at RZA's face and I was like, wow. But it wasn't just him. It was all of the Wu that was sitting there and it was like, word, like, you know what I mean? I thought that was special. Do you realize how special that is though?
I mean, we all... I mean, RZA's family, right? The way I consider Joe family, the way I consider you family, right? We all grew up together.
Right.
It's like they changed my life, I changed their life, and it was just, you know, and like, you know, and the one thing is, you know, we never fought over money, and I won't fight over money.
Wow.
Right?
I never realized that.
So, like, we could have a disagreement about a marketing, but not even about how much we were spending. You know, let's do this, let's do that. You know, when I got them on the Rage Against the Machine tour, right? If we finished that tour, to me, that would have been the biggest selling hip hop album of all time. Right? I mean, it was a double album. We debuted.
Was that when they
that was Wu-Tang Forever.
Okay, was that when they got banned for Hot 97?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, and then we had the Rage Against the Machine tour, and you know, and unfortunately for us, the tour started in all the cities that we already had on lock.
Wow.
Right, and we had that, you know, first hip hop $1 million video, right, with Triumph,
right,
and then
Abominably.
Yeah.
Classic record. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm getting a class back.
So what happened was, you know, we scanned, which means records sold in those days. We sold, I think, 600 and something thousand first week, debuted, and it was a double album, so it really is $1 million too, right? Okay. So 94% around the world, number one in every country. And then the tour...
Without radio, too.
Yeah, right. The Hot 97 thing came, right? We got hit.
Right.
But now I was like, all right, don't worry about it. The tour's going to start and the video's dropping. Right. So, you know, we debuted at 600. You go down, and now the record starts coming up again. And we're averaging around 300,000 a week. And the tour, now we're going into the Midwest. Like, when I'm saying the Midwest, like Nebraska, Cleveland, Indiana, like markets that we've never been in, markets that we haven't sold. And we're talking about 30, 40,000 seaters. And if we finished that tour, we would have done 15 to 20 million albums.
Wow.
Easy.
And that was just in America. Was that tour, did it lead to
it was going to go internationally, but I'm just talking about
domestically, right.
Right. Because
Then.
I you know, me and you've been overseas a couple times together, but I wish the fans could understand how sometimes overseas more kind of appreciates it. Like,
you know, they know it better than we know it.
Yeah.
They appreciate it
because they can't touch it.
So I want to know the first time you met Wu. Because was it you met RZA first?
I met RZA 30 minutes before the rest of the guys. So I met him on my birthday, March 2nd, 1993.
Okay, wow.
And RZA I've been trying to reach him since the beginning of the year. And I'm in New York for my 31st birthday. And I'm working out of the RCA building. And I think it was on 6th Avenue at the time and like 43rd Street. And they said, there's a Prince Rakeem. I'm like, you're kidding me.
What, you didn't know Prince Rakeem was RZA?
No,
there was no RZA yet. It was just Prince Rakeem.
You knew him already.
Yeah.
Because he was already an artist that was out.
Yeah, but I didn't know him personally. I knew who he was.
Right.
But
you saying you were looking for him already.
I've been trying to reach him. He didn't have an answering machine. Like all that, you know, if you saw the show, like you really, he shows up. I'm with E Swift from the Alcoholics.
Shout out to E Swift.
Right? So the office is no bigger than this table. Right? And he comes and he goes, the guys are downstairs. You mind if they come up? I'm like, yeah, no problem. So,
did you know it was 9 of them?
No. Right?
By the way, I can picture this now. So continue.
They come up, they say, we got a video. Right? You
protect
have a video?
Your neck.
Yeah, protect your neck. So they put the video in and they start performing. So some guy comes in a jumpsuit. So I don't know if he's in the metal. I don't know who he is. He comes and slams the door, says, that's that shit. Comes in and goes out. I've never seen him again. I still got $1 million check waiting for him. And I signed him I don't know if they set me up and they hired this guy to come in as an actor or if he really
and you never asked them if they didn't see it.
Me and RZA, like, you know, RZA is like, he gives me a smile. Like,
right.
And we signed him, you know, the deal was done within like 2 weeks.
Wow. And I know this is a cliche kind of question, right? But some people could just see talent off top, and sometimes the talent has to be proven. Did you know off top by looking at them?
I mean, the energy.
Okay.
Like, how do you not? I mean, Dirty doing his verse to protect your neck.
Wow.
Like standing on the desk. I mean,
wow.
Did I know 35 years later that they're...
Yeah, because we take it for granted now, but even the name Wu-Tang Clan sounded crazy when you first heard it.
Well,
I mean, you know, that W, to me, is in the top 5 brands in music, right? You have the Rolling Stones' Tongue, you have the Grateful Dead, Skull, you know, and then the Wu W.
Yeah.
You know, and I know. So...
That's fucking amazing, man. This is hip hop music. Hip hop was predominantly at this time was not known to cross over, and when it did cross over, it was looked at like, it's almost frowned upon. Wu-Tang was one of these groups that crossed over that they never compromised their music. It always stood the same. It always sounded street. Was it ever a time where they tried to change that? Like, I'm talking about not the group. I'm talking about you signed with BMG and all these other, like...
If they did, I would tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah,
right?
Because
I never considered myself an A&R guy. To this day, I don't consider myself an A&R guy. I consider myself a marketing and a promotion guy.
Right.
So, you know, I own the name Street Team. Right? And that's all...
That's fire.
I knew how to do it. Like, when I left from Loud to start SRC Records, I thought I was going to build Loud Point 2, right?
Okay.
But Universal didn't understand street records, right? And God blessed me with Akon. God blessed me with David Banner with that, and then it was like I found something, we just moved, and I just found something where, Akon had the #1 and #2 pop record in the country at the same time. And
what was it? Clap That?
It was Smack That.
Smack That?
And I Want to Fuck You.
And I Want to Fuck Two very vulgar records.
Yeah. One was with them, and the other one was with Snoop.
Right.
And and Universal was saying, you got to move one of the records. And I was like, you laughed in my face when I said this will be the biggest artist of my career. I was like, nah, you guys are going to lose your bonus on this one.
Right. Do you think Akon created Afro beats?
I don't know if he created Afrobeats, but he has a big say in,
He was promoting going to Africa first.
I mean, he's from Africa.
Going back. I'm fucking around. I'm joking around. What's your favorite era of music?
90s.
90s? You remember early 90s or late 90s, middle 90s, or just the 90s period?
I'm going to say like from 92 to,
Okay. 92 on. Okay. That's where Wu dropped, right?
Well, Wu dropped 93. When did Digital Underground drop?
Oh, that's late 80s.
Late 80s, 89?
89, 90,
yeah.
Okay. What you said? That's when Digital Underground?
And so when you're starting your label and you're saying to go back, because it's a big deal, you said you trademarked Street Team?
Right. Yeah, I trademarked Street Team after the label, but yeah, I didn't even want a label, man. I was like, in my late 20s, I was making 6 figures, and I thought I was rich.
Right.
I was cool. I would leave the office every day at 3 o'clock.
You were, but at that time, for sure.
I was leaving the office every day at 3 o'clock, go to the park, play ball for 2 hours, come back to the office, do my reports. And somebody said, you got to have a label. I was like, nah, I'm cool. And they ended up calling my father. So I'm in the city. I'm staying at the Hilton Hotel on 54th Street. And he said, I need to talk to you. And no, actually, I wasn't staying at the Hilton. I was staying at my partner, Rich Isaacson's apartment.
Right. This your pops that comes.
Yeah, he goes, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, all right, I'll have lunch with you tomorrow. He goes, no, come to the house now. My dad lived in Long Island, which was 45 minutes. I'm like, Dad, it's 10 o'clock. He goes, I don't give a fuck. Get over here now.
What's your hip hop guy?
He put out the first hip hop record.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And when my dad talks like that, I really,
Right.
it's not smart to say no to anybody. So I take the Long Island Railroad, take the train, and he said, Paul Marshall called me. I'm like, okay. And he goes, you turned down a label. I'm like, yeah. He goes, you're a fucking idiot. He goes, you know why? I was like, it's not the first time you've called me an idiot. And just like, well, why, Dad? He goes, with the company that you have now, you're doing extremely well, but you're only as good as your last contract. MCA could fire you, Warner Brothers could fire you, you could get fired, and then you're left with your dick in your hand.
All right.
With this, having a record company, you own something. You're making money while you're sleeping.
Right.
Right.
And I couldn't disagree with him on that.
Shout out to your father.
But before you get into that part, what I wanted to find out is, how did you get into the Street Team and marketing side of things? Like, what drove you there?
So I was majorly dyslexic as a kid. I didn't know how to read or write till I was 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
And I was in juvie and I was getting in a lot of trouble. And my grandfather was living down here. And my grandfather was I don't know what he was, but he was a tough motherfucker.
Right.
Right? And he called me. And he says, you got to change. I was 18, 19 years old. He says, you got to change your life. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I want to be like you. He goes, this is why I'm living down here now. I don't want to be what I was. He goes, you're going to end up dead or in jail. And He goes, go into the music business. I said, my father wants nothing to do with me. He goes, I'll take care of that. And 2 weeks later, he calls me, he goes, pick me up, Eastern Airlines at JFK.
Wait a minute. James, your father signed James Brown?
Yeah, my dad signed James Brown too. And we went into the city, and we sat down with my father and uncle, and they said, we're going to put you on the road. So you'll fly back to Florida with Grandpa, and then from there, and they gave me a route, you know, I drove from Fort Lauderdale to Macon, Georgia, then to Atlanta, Alabama. Don't forget, there's no GPS, no map.
Right.
I'm just learning how to read. Like, so, you know, so it's like I would call the stations. So if I'm in Macon, Georgia, I would call the station in Atlanta and say, how do I, and literally write the directions down.
Right.
I didn't even know how to read a map. I mean, I was so, but I'm 18 years old hanging out with 40, 50-year-olds. And I was like, let me go to the colleges, right? What are we going to talk? We're going to talk music. We're going to talk sports. We're going to talk girls.
Right.
That was never really about money.
Right.
So that was only supposed to be 3 months. And it lasted 3.5 years. So when I was done, I actually got really good at it. And I just kept in touch with a lot of the college DJs. And when I moved out to LA, I moved out to LA to start managing New Edition. And then after that ran its course, I needed to do something. So I started calling the record labels. I said, hey, I'll help promote your hip hop records. And that's when I put the whole team together.
Load the hip hop record?
I'll help promote.
Oh, promote. Okay.
But you went to manage New Edition?
Yeah.
How much pussy did you get at that time?
So this is a great story.
This is great.
This is a good story. So we're in St. Thomas. They're performing at Hal Jackson. Remember Hal Jackson from WBLS?
Nope, I'm sorry. Maybe not that old.
All right. So Hal Jack, he was one of the owners of BLS, Hal Jackson's Talented Teen Contest. And we're flying back from St. Thomas to LA. And they're talking about how many they went through. I thought they were talking about for the weekend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
They're talking about per day.
Per day.
Right? So when it came up to mine, I thought I did good.
Right.
Right? They said, you were doing that per day? And I was like, no, I did that for the weekend. They said, no, we're talking about per day.
Right. New Edition. I can smell the ass. I can smell it. That, and you, because first of all, R&B is different.
And those were different times too.
But this was a different times where they had to come see you. There was no Instagram. There was no
they
nothing.
couldn't
There was
follow you
nothing.
and fantasize through there. They had to go and see you, and then it was a
He
different
was
thing.
roommates with Pop. That was probably.
But that was after. New Edition was like 86,
You know how
85,
many,
86.
You know how many people in this room, New Edition might have took your moms down. This is a fact.
So, but this was a great thing with New Edition. The reason why I let Wu-Tang do all their solo records,
Okay.
because to me the group was always bigger than the whole.
Right.
So when Ralph wanted to do a solo record, that's why we put Johnny in the group and everything else.
Ralph Tresvant. Okay.
Ralph Tresvant.
Yeah.
But we all said the group will still be bigger than the solo. So that's how I let.
Until Bobby Brown started.
That makes
wilding
a
out.
lot of sense,
Bobby
though.
Brown said, "It's my prerogative."
Bobby sold more records,
Wow,
but
I didn't know that.
touring with Michael sold more records than the Jackson 5, but Michael couldn't tour the way that right when Michael went back with the Jackson 5 for that victory tour. That and that day that was the biggest tour in the world ever.
No, but this is crazy because it makes sense how you would have had that foresight to make that type of deal with Wu-Tang,
Yeah, because
based on what you went through with New Edition.
Yeah,
where you saw
that makes total sense. But at that time, because I believe Wu-Tang was on Loud, but you actually let Meth go to Def Jam. You had to give permission for that, or that was
But
something?
that's what he's saying. That's where he got.
That's where I got because of New Edition. So when I signed Wu and they gave me, right, I wasn't going to say no matter what, because it was about survival of the fittest, right? So I was like, go ahead, if we can match it. I didn't have the money to match it.
Right.
And it wasn't even crazy money.
Match.
Match Def Jam's did.
Oh,
The other deal, yeah.
But then you had Genius, I believe, was on
Geffen. Dirty was on Elektra.
Yeah.
And we ended up having Ray and Deck.
So
They already had those deals before?
No,
that was after.
Jizza had, Meth had, Dirty was at Elektra. Then when Protect Your Neck and the METHOD man came, Def Jam came and got Meth.
Right. Okay.
Now, did Leo have to ask your permission for that, or?
Well, yes, but it was RZA that said, this is what we wanted.
Because that's how you did the deal.
Yeah.
That it would allow those things.
But what was the agreement? As long as Wu-Tang get back together, that you'll be in with that. That's fucking genius. It sounds so simple nowadays because we've seen so many examples of it, but prior to that, we have never seen no examples of it. And I never even put two and two together with the New Edition.
Right, and
until just now.
We could take for granted the fact that had you not experienced what you experienced with New Edition, you might not have done that type of deal. We might not have had the Wu-Tang the way we have them today.
100%.
Right. That's crazy.
And it's a genius.
Shout out to New Edition, though, for being a part of that.
Yeah.
And shout out to Hiram Hicks, too.
It's genius because in a certain way, when you have artists that's making these albums where all the artists is on the group, it's like they're actually helping, these other labels are helping promote not only the group, but the other artists. Like, you know what I mean? Like for instance, Ghostface album, I remember him, what is it, Supreme Clientele, or is this the other one where Raekwon is right there? So it's like, it's in your best interest as a...
Yeah, the bigger they are, the bigger... Right. And don't forget, they would pay us. Not RZA, but Sony would pay us, Elektra would pay us, Geffen would pay us.
Right. For the clear samples or the clear the artists?
To market the records.
Oh.
What the fuck did they know how to market?
Because they playing the street team?
I had
expertise.
And I had the blueprint.
Genius. Right. Yeah, you know how to promote them already. Yeah. You already sold millions of records with them as the group.
And the branding ultimately helps the group because they're all screaming Wu-Tang at the end of the day. And
exactly.
Wu-Tang is on loud.
Did you ever see streaming? Like, did you see this coming?
So, man, right before I got to Florida.
Okay.
In 2013, I had my heart attack.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And I stopped working.
Okay.
From 2013 to today, my catalog has done 23 billion streams.
Wow.
I called my lawyer.
Yeah.
On my way here.
Right.
To find me some fucking money.
Right.
Because the truth is I sold the company.
Right.
And I think it generated, I don't really know the math, but my son said it was like $140 million. And this is catalog. Right? I'm like.
And you sold the catalog?
I sold it. I got sick. I didn't think I was going to live, so I sold. Right? So I was like, and most of it
was Universal.
Is Akon. Let's just, I think Akon's like 14 billion out of it, right? By himself, right? And then you have Joe with Lean Back.
Wow.
That's, I think, 2.
Right.
And I was like, somebody should throw me something.
Right. It's very true. I agree with you. Who would it be?
Universal.
Universal motherfuckers, get your life together. Make sure you break Steve Rifkind. Nah, but that's, Jamie, can I get another one, Jamie? Yeah. I wanted to play Quick Time of Slime, but I guess we gotta wait for.
We could do it twice if we want.
So Cassidy will be here soon.
Explain this relationship. Or do we wait for him?
No, let me say it first, and then.
Right.
Okay.
What?
I haven't called.
Okay.
Mr. Lee, you're randomness, bro.
So. Cassie's like a son to me, right?
Wow.
I gave him his first record deal with O'Neal McKnight when I had SRC. We threw probably the best party in the history of parties. 2007 at my house right after the BET award. So during COVID, he calls me. He goes, "I need you to see something immediately, and please, it's gonna take 30 minutes." So he sends
him talking
to me, and he sends me this video of a show called Pass the Mic.
Right.
So I watch it, and I said, "This is going to change your life. This is going to change my life. I'm going to make a deal for you on TV." And we made a deal with BET. And then we discussed. I got a call that somebody said that they want to make this a tour.
Oh wow.
So Shelby Joyner, who has Black Promoters Coalition called. We did a deal with Shelby for like 8-9 cities, and did extremely well. Mm-hmm. And now we have this residency in Vegas with Live Nation.
And now who is we know Fat Joe and Ja Rule.
Dougie Fresh.
I believe
Dougie Fresh, Sick Rick, and then we have Ray and Ghost coming one night.
Oh, wow.
Public Enemy coming one night.
Okay.
Akon coming for a weekend. Jermaine and DeBrat one night.
Okay.
Warren G and Too Short one night.
That's every month.
That's going to be for the month of July in Vegas.
July.
Yeah, we're going to start it off just 1 month.
Right. Is residency something that's good?
I think so. I mean, look how it restarted Usher's career.
Right.
Yeah, and it seems like, I mean, if depending on the caliber of artists, but the money that, at least in Vegas, that they're giving up for these residencies is crazy.
That's why we need that's why we need to do this residency with you guys.
Yeah.
You'll make more money than you'll ever make in your life.
I didn't have a residency, but I don't know if you remember, after Oye Mi Kondo hit #1, I got hired for all the Wednesdays of 1 month. You don't remember? Like, I kept going out just one place, same exact place. I did the same exact show. Cancun, Mexico. Yes. So I don't know if that was considered a residency.
Yes, that was a residency.
But yes and no, because these deals in Vegas are totally different.
Yeah, so Vegas, don't forget, you have merch, right?
And why is residency so popular in Vegas?
Because everybody's in Vegas for the weekend.
For the
And
tour.
those hotels, they need to attract the people to get them in the casino. And this is what's attracting them. The shows.
It's one time a month.
No, it could be weekly. It could be relaxed, buddy.
Calm down.
Relax. One time in Dominican Republic. Yes. You can do it. We can do it.
I mean, you can't.
There's people that do it every day.
All right, Cassidy's 10 minutes out.
Okay. Your residency once a year.
Your residency come with a platano. You gotta relax.
I like it.
So because I remember the residency when I first heard of something like that. It was like the Rat Pack type of thing. It was like
That's the original residency.
that's the original residency. Oh, okay, I'm not bugging.
No, that's the original.
So that was Frank, Sammy,
yeah.
That's the beginning of Vegas.
Dean Lewis,
Sammy did. Well, you said Sammy.
Sammy, Frank, Dean Lewis, Jerry Lewis. And then they they had their own beefs. So
I also remember you had something to do with Mary's residency. Was that the truth, or you were managing her at the time?
Yeah, it was a quick stint.
Okay. What?
It was quick, but
short term.
Yeah, they wanted her to replace Usher.
Wow. And she didn't take it, or she did?
She had a deal with Live Nation to do this tour, so she's going to do the tour first.
Okay. And I heard you say this a couple of times. You're down with Live Nation now?
Yeah.
What is
I'm
that mean?
with Ron Lafitte, who manages Usher. Is probably the biggest management company in Live Nation. And he's a good friend, and he said, come in, you have an empty whiteboard to do whatever the hell you want to do.
Right.
So
what does that mean? That's you're more on the concert side? Or?
I could do whatever I want.
They do a lot.
Yeah, so if it's Cassidy, if it's Mary, if it's if we could get the residency with you guys, I'm starting.
Doesn't mean you have to live there.
No.
Residency just means you're going to be there consecutively.
If you're a resident, you gotta live there. That's how it's done.
It probably originated like that because those guys used to live in Vegas. Those guys used to have penthouses in the hotels back in the day, so it probably started with that. That's probably where the name probably originated.
Y'all making fun of me.
Yeah.
I don't want to change my.
I mean, at least he's using a word understanding what it means.
So I guess that's the point that EFN is trying to say is it has to be because you don't want to fly back and forth. When you live in New York, you might want to stay there the whole month. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, because
no, we're gonna have a good time. My uncle has his restaurant down there, so it's like
What's the name of the restaurant? Big it up.
Piero's.
Piero's? Okay, sounds good. One thing I know about Steve Rifkind, he knows how to eat.
So do you, Nori. I mean,
he's always the best spot. We got. He got some good ass taste. And
You went to eat with Steve Rifkind, Nobles.
That's right.
in LA.
That's right.
Remember
Damn, you ain't got to blow it up. Damn, dude. Tell them the address. There's other people listening, Sonny. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that wasn't that wasn't Noble. That was the original one.
The first one.
None of us knew how to order there.
Oh, Matahisa.
We didn't tell you, Steve. Steve went too far on us. Listen.
Little things like this.
I don't know if it was like this the whole time, but it was only raw, and we couldn't differentiate what was good. What was not.
I mean, we were in Paris.
Yes, yeah.
He was eating at the finest restaurant.
That's right.
And I was like, what the fuck?
No, but you got me on that one. Me and Sonny I think we were texting each other like, which one is which? we couldn't get the salmon right.
Listen, guys, don't worry. Anything you guys want, I got it. I said, I want the snapper. They sent out something that looked like 5 French fries. And I flew up for 10
No. By the way, that's crazy. That's crazy because that night, we walked to see Steve. I don't know if you remember. Sonny and Diego, where did Diego at? We walked to see Steve, and we saw Nas right before we walked to see. It was like a legendary night for us. We were like, who the fuck just walks into LA and you see fucking Nas Escobar sitting down there? So we get to see Nas, we take a picture, and then I tell Nas the name of the restaurant. What's the name of the restaurant?
Matahisa.
I can't pronounce it. You know, my dyslexia. Matahisa. And Nas was like, you could get in there? And I was like, yeah, with Steve. And then, apparently, a couple of other people called me, and I was saying that's where I'm at. And they're like, how could you get in there? Like, no one could get a reservation. And from that moment on, I knew Steve was a restaurant couture.
He can hang with the rest of them.
And you remember the people? It was facts.
Yes.
They said, where did you?
No, they looked at Steve. They was like,
That was it.
You know, I tell you this, and you tell me if this works out for you. One of my favorite CEOs that I got to work with. Me and you are friends. We never actually got to work, right? But one of my favorite CEOs is Leo Combs. And Leo Combs would show me how he would walk in a restaurant and he knew everybody. When I tell you everybody, he knew the guy mopping.
The busboy.
He knew the person wiping the tables. He knew the owner. He knew the maitre d'. He knew the person that walk you and give you the menus. He knew everybody. So it was a strategy for him, because when you walk into a place and everybody knows you, it's hard for you to say no to that person. Mm-hmm. Like, I knew he was tricking me this whole time. But then I started to do it. I started going to...
When you eat at the same restaurant at every time, you're good. Yeah. Oh, look who's here.
I can't even believe you guys made it.
Come on, sit down. Yeah. So,
Straight off the street.
I peed in the SUV.
Oh my God.
A lot of shit happened over the past 2.5 hours.
We know. So, I mean, that is a skill though, right? Because, I mean, even like something simple like here. Okay, you go to the bathroom here. Okay, all right. Even when you think of something like simple like Cheers told us sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Right. It was something simple like that. And I remember me always doing that, me frequenting the same restaurant, but I applied it during COVID. During COVID, nobody could get a Carbone reservation. Oh, was I destroying my props? I was there every night posting it. People were like, people were hating so much, but I learned that. I learned it from Leo, but I also... So is that something you do with your artists too? Like you bring them to these restaurants and put them on? Or
I mean, if it's a good restaurant, 100%. Like it's not... I'm not that way where, I'm not really flashy. So I'm not trying to show up.
Right.
So when I started going to Matahisa...
yeah.
That was really after my heart. I mean, I've been going since the 90s.
All healthy.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I had my heart attack, Nobu was truly a real friend.
Right.
So I would come and he would say, "This is what you're having tonight."
Wow.
He would charge me, but
Wow.
He was like your dietitian.
yeah.
That's fucking fly. Holy shit. Oh, because he knew your condition.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of ill.
I think-
I thought I was special by getting chicken parmesan and carbone. Damn, this guy got no move telling me this is what you eating. That's fucking fire. What is your favorite restaurant?
In the world.
In the world,
In the world.
there's an old school Italian restaurant in New York on 43rd between 2nd and 3rd called Piero's.
Piero's. That's what you named it? Okay.
Pietro's.
Okay.
And then my uncle's restaurant in Vegas is called Piero's.
Prietos?
Piero's in Vegas and Pietro's in the city.
So it's safe to say your favorite food is Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How's the chicken farm over there? I love chicken.
What, the chicken parm at Pietro's? You had it?
No.
He ain't had shit.
At my uncle's restaurant?
I've been around. But I'm asking the one on 43rd in New York because we go.
The one on 43rd is
crazy.
between 2nd and 3rd.
Compare it to Rayo's. What you like better? I see you and Tommy Mottola up in Rayo's. I see y'all.
I like Pietro's.
Pietro's?
Rayo's is more of a vibe. Like,
It's a vibe.
Yeah, I mean, you got your reserved table, you have everything, but
Okay.
food-wise,
So let me ask you an old wives' tale. They always said that Rayo's was 5 tables, right? They said They said there's 5
booths.
mafia families, right? But in Rayo's, they have 6 tables.
So you said they had a table for every family? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's
No, I don't know. I'm
that's
asking you.
I don't even think that's a rumor. That's 100% like how they sell Rayo's. Like, the 5 Italian families bought these tables, and then so it's like you so it's like you got this experience. Where in Rayo's, it's 6 tables, and I always wanted to ask like somebody who's close to that world: is there a secret family that we don't know about?
No, I think that's just for security. I have no
Well,
idea.
they would. The Canadians, they would say there's the Canadian family.
The mafia?
Yeah, there's a
It's a
family.
Canadian mafia. Drake?
You don't remember when we went to Vancouver? What they were telling us?
Yeah. No, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No. Tell
Oh
me.
man,
What?
I'm not gonna say it now. But
Oh, okay.
Our homie was putting us down when we came over there.
I always wanted to. Yes. So DJ Cassidy,
I'm gonna make one call.
okay, go ahead.
Cassidy.
Go ahead.
Wow, look at that.
He's passing the mic.
I'm passing the mic, Cassidy.
First, I apologize.
Yeah.
I left the hotel 2 hours and 45 minutes
Welcome to
ago.
Miami.
But I don't know how you all got here. You must have been coming from a different direction. I'm flattered you guys came. I called Steve. I said, I'm guessing no one's coming.
Right.
He said, I'm almost there. We'll see. He called me and said, you guys are all here.
Yeah.
I was parked on one street, bumper to bumper, 4 feet of water.
Wow.
I don't even know how we got past it,
Yeah.
but I can't believe you guys all made it.
Yeah. We don't play no games. We don't play. We're very serious about this.
Dedicated.
So
We're dedicated.
I'm honored to be here and
Yeah.
flattered that you guys made it here. I thought this for sure was a cancellation, but I'm so happy we made it through the floods.
No.
So
We made it.
You're one of the biggest DJs on the planet, right? You got to.
That's a very big statement. I don't know if I accept it, but I'm flattered that you say that, but I don't know if that's...
No, you are. That's the truth.
That's true.
I love the fact that so many people have great relationships with you. How did you develop that? Is that something that you did on purpose, or that's something that you developed along time?
Well, I've been DJing since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
So it's been 3 decades of relationships.
Wow.
And I think at the foundation of every career and every life, not to sound overly, poetic, but is relationships. And, as a 10-year-old kid, I never dreamt of doing any of the things I've done as a DJ. My only dream as a 10-year-old DJ was for my favorite rappers to know my name.
Right.
If you'd have told me when I was 10 years old that Tretch would know my name,
Wow.
I could have died a happy kid.
Right.
So that was really the only dream I ever had. And in celebrating my heroes, I developed relationships with nearly all of them. And I think the greatest gift of my career thus far, by far, has been developing friendships with those who I idolized as a child. By far the greatest gift of not only my career, of my life.
Right. I like that. Let me ask you the highs. Let me ask you a low. Has there ever been somebody that you looked up to that you was as a 10-year-old kid, and then you met them and you was like, because I've met plenty that disappointed me.
You know, the one person that comes to mind, and I don't know if this is going to sound cliche, if you've heard this before, is actually no one in the music business or hip hop. Everyone in music and hip hop always actually really treated me as their fan with kindness.
Wow.
And to this day, when I meet someone new, I couldn't even think of a negative encounter, but I had one negative encounter with Michael Jordan once as a child.
Then why Mike always?
Yeah, Mike.
So I wasn't a sports fan. I was never a sports fan.
Right.
I only cared about Michael.
No, you was a DJ when this encounter happened, or
Usually,
I was a child
Okay,
who had
DJing.
turntables.
Right.
okay, cool.
So the answer is yes, but he would have never known. I was a kid. I was 12, 13.
I need to understand where this is going. Go
No,
ahead.
I
the DJ part has nothing to do with it,
I've
right?
DJ'd Michael Jordan's, birthdays since then.
Since-
I've been an
Wow.
adult,
Okay,
of course.
okay.
No, he has no
All right,
idea
all
this
right.
happened.
I need to hear this childhood, G. Come on.
So I'm on a family vacation. And someone tells us that Michael Jordan is in the lobby lounge. And I think I was wearing the 11s, but not the patent leather 11s. You know, the low ones with the net,
Ooh, the ones that's
the
almost
gray
like Jumpman's?
concrete.
Okay, yeah.
And then they had the net in them. They were like the summer 11s,
Ooh,
but they
yeah.
looked nothing like the patent
They're not
leather.
the real ones.
So someone tells me Michael Jordan is in the lobby lounge, and I go down there, and he's in a meeting. He's having a drink with a guy, and I walk up to him very politely. And I thought I could get away with it because I was a child. I don't think I would have walked up to him as a 20-year-old.
Okay.
And I said, "Could you sign my shoe?" And he said something like, "I'm having a drink right now." So, and that was it. And I walked away. It was the only disappointing moment. But as an adult, I can appreciate why Michael Jordan doesn't sign every shoe he's asked to sign.
right.
So I wasn't left. If I was left a little salty then, I was not as an adult.
Right.
Especially when your signature is worth
Right.
however much money I can only imagine.
right.
You're not just going to be signing every sneaker that comes your way.
Right.
But that really is the only negative encounter that I can even imagine. I've been really blessed. I have found that all my heroes, especially in music, have really proven to me why they're legends.
Right.
And I mean, I could give you, example after example, but so I think Run and DMC, I think Virginia.
Is why we always have on like a hats? Like, is that you're paying homage to Run DMC to a
So
certain
when I
extent?
was a kid, I idolized Run DMC and I idolized Michael Jackson. And
I can see them both.
Yeah, I can see
I can
that.
see both.
And I always thought as a kid that everyone I looked up to looked like a superhero.
Right.
As I was saying a minute ago, I was never into sports. I was into Michael Jordan for the clothes and the
Right.
sneakers. I was never into sports. I was into hip hop.
Right.
So hip hoppers were my superheroes. They were my Michael Jordan. They were my Superman and Spider-Man.
Mine as well. Continue.
And so I looked up to Grandmaster Flash, Kool Herc, and Africa Bambaataa, and not because I knew much about them as a young kid. I knew later on as a teenager, I researched them as a young teen. But 8, 9, 10, I don't think I knew much about them, but I knew what they looked like. And they looked like superheroes.
Right.
Kool Herc in the convertible with the speakers. I know you guys know that image.
Yeah.
And Flash with the outfits, they literally looked like superheroes to me. And
We're gonna leave you alone on that one.
I
He's
was
out of control.
I was enamored by them.
Yeah.
And they later influenced my career and how I DJ'd. But initially, I didn't know about all that. But I just knew what they looked like.
Okay.
And they look like superheroes. And then you cut to Run DMC.
Yes.
3
Yep.
superheroes times 1,000. If an alien came from outer space to this day and said, what is hip hop? And you could only show them one thing. You couldn't show them 10 examples. You could only show them one thing.
Run DMC.
I think I still might show them Run DMC and Jam Master Jay. And if I could only play them one thing, I think I might play them Sucker MCs.
Sucker MCs, yeah. That was,
because that looks and sounds like hip hop to me. And I know that's different with everyone. That's not fact.
Right.
But so they were my superheroes, and I always wanted, as my career grew, to not necessarily look like them,
Right.
but to have a look like them. So I think I started experimenting with hats because of Run DMC, Jam Master Jay, and Michael Jackson. I think I were.
how early were you starting to experiment with the look?
I think it started in my late teens, early 20s, but by my late 20s became really solidified. I don't think the boater hat became my signature to my late 20s. But I mean, every kind of bit of my style I could trace back to someone and something. I wear my pants really short, that's Michael Jackson. Every little bit is some kind of influence in a blender.
Right.
As a kid, I idolized Bobby Brown. He's also become a friend. And he just looked like the coolest person on earth. The leather outfits, I got that from him. So, I've been idolizing people for a long time. Right. And a lot of those people are my friends today, but they're still my idols. Right. And I say to my idols that have become my friends, I'll say to them, I'll say to Run. I'll say, Joey, no matter how close we grow.
Call him Joey?
I get to call him Joey.
Okay,
Yeah. You don't call him Joey?
No.
You call him Run or Rev?
I don't call nobody.
Okay.
Yeah.
I call all my hip hop heroes by their hip hop names.
So he has 3 names, right?
Yeah.
Joey, Rev, and Run.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
So, but I'd say Joey or Run. I do call him Run. I don't call him Rev. I'll say Joey or Run. I'll say no matter how close we go, I'll say no matter how close we grow as friends, you will never stop being Run to me.
Right.
And I think those two things can coexist.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you can idolize your friend.
Right.
I think you can look up to your friend. I think you
believe
can
so.
admire your friend.
Absolutely.
I tell that to Nas all the time.
Exactly.
So it doesn't dumb down my fanness, the fact that we're friends.
I was at a birthday dinner in LA 2 nights ago. And it was for one of my best friends, Mark Birnbaum, who's the owner of Catch, the restaurant Catch.
I love the floss. Continue.
So I walked into the restaurant. There may be 50 people there, cocktail hour, ready to sit. And I run right into Nas and LL. So they were walking to sit. I walked with them. And for the next 3 hours, the 3 of us sat and had the greatest conversation. This was literally 3 nights ago.
Just you, Nas, and LL.
Yep.
Let's make some noise for you.
And
That's legendary, man.
And I don't think that's normal.
No.
I didn't look at my phone for 3 hours. As we all know at a dinner, that never happens.
Right.
You're constantly checking your texts. You're on Instagram. You're posting the birthday. Nothing.
Yeah, look, Sonny's on his phone right now.
And every time someone from the dinner came over to me to say hello, oh, long time no see, I kept on being like, can we talk later? I'm listening to LL and Nas, and I wanted to get rid of everyone because how often do you get to spend
That's a
3
moment
hours
right
with
there.
LL and Nas? But here's the point I wanted to make. Watching the two of them together, these giants, right? Giants from Queens. Giants was such a beautiful thing. I don't even know that 3 days later I know yet how to put it into words. I tried to tell them at the end of the dinner, and I hope I articulated myself so that they understood. I think they did. First of all, watching Nas talk to one of his heroes was, first of all, obvious that it was one of his heroes. You could have come in and known nothing about hip hop and you would have known something was going on. It was a beautiful thing.
Right.
It was beautiful. I told them, I said, this has been the most touching experience, and watching the respect LL had for Nas.
Right.
And, I chimed in here and there, but I really just wanted to let them go because I don't know how many times they've done that.
Right.
And Nas started quoting songs off of LL's first album and talking about their favorite songs of each other. And it was a beautiful moment. But I'm only bringing this up because we were talking about being a fan and a friend.
Yeah.
And you look at those two who are megastars, way beyond hip hop culture, just global superstars in so many ways. And you forget sometimes that stars are fans.
Yeah.
And watching them together, was so beautiful. And I also think that it speaks to a camaraderie and a fraternity-like environment in hip-hop that's truly special.
Yep.
Maybe basketball has it, maybe baseball, maybe sports has it. I wouldn't know, not my territory.
Right.
But I don't know how many businesses in this world that exists in.
Right.
And it's clearly more than a business. It's a culture, but there's such a fraternity and a camaraderie amongst, I think, people in hip hop. And it was a beautiful thing to watch.
And specific to them, you were witnessing a full circle moment between these two artists. You know, you're known for DJing some of the biggest parties, right? Not just hip hop, just in general. Have you ever DJed for Michael Jackson?
No. So Michael Jackson, when he died, he was the only person that I had never met that I wanted to.
Oh, I thought you were about to say you DJed at his funeral. I was about to say that.
No,
damn.
Because he morbid as fuck. I was like, wait a minute. Where you go?
It means you met Prince.
You met Prince?
I've met Prince.
You met Mimi?
So Prince and I performed at the White House together.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. Talking about?
So Prince and I performed at the White House. It was one of the many times I DJed at the White House over the 8 years of the Obama administration.
Okay. I need to ask, did Prince invite you or this was the Obama administration?
So I got a call, but I guess I have to give some context. So
yeah, please.
Over the 8 years of Obama's administration, I've
never been invited to the White House. I'm not welcome.
Well, it was a special time. I don't know that now even feels exactly like what that felt.
Okay. There was a lot of hip hop stuff going on at that time. There.
I just think for so many reasons, I think that was a time that just it was a special moment in time. And so,
did you smell weed at the White House?
No, I didn't.
No, all right, cool.
No, I didn't.
Don't tell me if you did anyway. Give me
He
kicked you under the table, though.
Okay, continue.
So I was the first DJ to ever play a presidential inauguration. Wow. And I was the first DJ to ever DJ at the White House.
Wow.
So, there's this guy, I forgot his name, and I don't know if he's still there, but...
Okay, can I be fair, though? Because didn't NWA perform there? So wouldn't their DJ...
NWA never performed.
I thought NWA performed at the White House.
Easy went to a Republican party thing, but I don't think...
he didn't. I thought he performed there.
I don't know, but a group might have had a DJ.
Okay, yeah. But you DJ'd.
Yeah,
this is
so
you
DJ'd
rocking
the party
crowd.
there.
You
Right,
rock.
so the first time I was at the White House was actually not the first presidential inauguration that Obama had. The first inauguration, his parties were not at the house.
Okay.
All right.
They were at a convention center, and I performed live at one of those parties.
Yeah, because he didn't have access to the house yet in the first inauguration.
You get inaugurated January 20th. No, I think you move in that day.
Right.
So
right.
you could have.
Okay.
But perhaps that was the reason. But anyway, it's a big convention hall, and there's like 8 different parties going on. So I was like the curator of the music for all the rooms.
Wow.
And I played live in one of the rooms.
Big responsibility.
But it was fairly impersonal.
Right.
So a year or two later, the president is turning 50. And I get a call that the president would like you to play his 50th birthday at the White House.
That's big, man.
So I show up at the White House for sound check, and it was a moment I'll never forget. There's moments in your career, I don't even want to say career, there's moments in your life.
Your life, yes.
Where you just say, how did I get here? You know that song by Talking Heads, Once in a Lifetime? And I asked myself, how did I get here as the days go by? Right. So I walk in, I go, how did I get here? And at that point, I think I left that night saying this was the greatest night of my life because I felt that what I did had a little meaning. I mean, I wasn't the leader of the free world, but I just thought that I left with a little more meaning than I had gone in.
Let me ask you something. Does the president pay?
I did not accept money from the president.
But did he say, you want the bag or you just...
The first one would have been the DNC.
I can't,
Second one...
I can't speak for others, but I never accepted money from the president. For me, it was an honor.
They had the thing that you got in France. The thing that made you vomit.
No. Go ahead. No, as funny as that, I want to know that too.
So,
do they take care of travel at least?
Yeah, of course. Travel and equipment. And the crazy thing is my sound guy at the time, he fully outfitted the White House. So years later, when the party with Prince happened, it's my sound guy outfitting the sound. Like, these were full-on parties. Full-on parties. So what unfolded that night after I walked in, I was not even prepared for.
Okay. Meaning?
I'm about to go on, and when I say go on, if you're looking at the White House, if you can picture the pillars, right? There's windows.
Yeah.
I don't know what the room's called. I did it 10 times, but this is the last room on the left, the last window on the left.
So I've never been in, so I don't know.
Call it the Lincoln Room? I don't know. Let's just ride with it. Let's just ride with it.
So we're not Lincoln Room.
That room.
It's the Lincoln Room. So we're not talking about a tent or an addendum event area. We're talking about
in the White House.
The White House.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Eleanor Roosevelt designed rooms in the White House, the blue room, green room, yellow room, and red room years ago. And now they're where the tourists go to see. You see the red room, the blue room, and next to all these rooms is the party room. Coincidentally, the red room was the green room, meaning the dressing room.
Yes.
So I'm in this red room. And I call my grandmother at that time, 80 years old, Holocaust, survivor, came to America with nothing. And I say, Mama, guess where I am? And she knows, obviously. She says, where? And I said, I'm in the red room at the White House. And you could just hear her having chills down her spine. And at that moment, I knew that this night, if I never did it again, if I never came here again, this moment was special. So I get a tap on the shoulder and someone says, hi, DJ Cassidy, Stevie Wonder would like to talk to you. So I immediately say, why is anyone asking my permission for Stevie Wonder to come say hello to me? Like, yes, can he please? Where is he? I'll go say hello.
Stevie, you sly stone you.
So
driving the car by. That's what Stevie.
He saw you on his way in.
So already, this is starting off bizarre, like overly polite, like, strange. Like, why are you asking it, Stevie Wonder? Of course, come interrupt my phone call. I literally said, Mama, I'll call you back. I got to talk to Stevie Wonder. So Stevie comes up.
Stunning on your grandma.
So let me paint this picture. I'm in the red room. It's a famous room. You can Google it. Very Louis XVI ornate Versailles, like all gold red. And the party people are in this room right to my left, 500 people. And the president is on stage thanking Janelle Monáe for performing, about to bring me on.
Wow.
But very casual. This is not a black tie event. This was like Sunday afternoon vibes.
All right.
So Stevie comes up to me and goes, DJ Cassidy, so I was thinking we could do some, I've done things with him at this point before. So he goes, Cassidy, I was thinking maybe we could collaborate and I'll come on and sit at the keyboard and surprise the president. I said, I'd love that. So he goes, maybe I'll just do signed, sealed, delivered. Could you drop a beat to that? So I'm thinking I have a solid 15 minutes to prepare what beat I'm gonna loop in Serato for him to play signed, sealed, delivered. That 15 minutes was 15 seconds.
Right.
Stevie walks on stage with the guy, that holds his hand.
Right.
And the next thing you know, the president goes, oh, looks like we have a guest. Unexpected. Stevie Wonder. And Stevie Wonder sits at the keyboard and I follow him. I don't know what I'm about to do. So I have about 30 seconds to say to myself, what beat?
I just caught that. He followed Stevie on stage?
I followed Stevie on stage because he wanted me to jam with him.
You know what I'm talking about? Like literally walking, like
He said that Stevie was being taken
I'm
there.
being funny. But go ahead.
So,
Very independent.
Yes.
so Stevie was being guided. And I knew that if I wasn't there, he wouldn't realize I wasn't there. He thought I was ready to rock with him.
Right.
So in 30 seconds, I'm thinking, what the hell am I going to do with signed, sealed, delivered? So the president's still talking. The president now announces Stevie Wonder and DJ Cassidy. And he plays the first chords to Sign, Seal, Deliver. Dun, 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 dun. And I pull a Billy Squier big beat, praying that I have those first 4 bars looped on Serato. Not looped. So I'm sure you guys know, but for those listening, Billy Squier Big Beat is a song from the 70s, a rock song that was first made famous when Run DMC used it for Here We Go, Here We Go, Here We Go, Here We Go, Here We Go. And Run DMC's performance of Here We Go was never recorded in a studio. It was recorded live at the Funhouse. And you can hear Jam Master Jay going back and forth every 4 bars. And I think there's 1 or 2 times he kind of messes it up, but he catches it.
Right.
Wow.
And then Rick Rubin used it for 99 Problems. So I know it's about the same tempo as Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
Right.
So Stevie starts singing. As I did pray so long, that it was still wrong. Ooh, baby, here I am. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Boom, ba ba, boom, boom, ba ba, boom, ba ba, boom, boom, chicka, 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 boom, ba ba, boom, boom, ba ba. And I do that for the next 5 minutes. While he not only performs Signed, Sealed, Delivered, but an extended improvised version of Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
Sweating during that.
So I can picture it like it was yesterday. He's right here, everyone's right here, and I'm kind of tilted. They were gonna move me out straight. I was on wheels, but because he was there, now I'm tilted. And I'm cutting up this song, praying that I just stay on beat every 4 bars. Stevie's rocking, and I kind of turn to my right. I didn't wear glasses then, so it's probably easier. And I see Jay-Z and Chris Rock.
Boy, they was lit.
Is that the White House still?
And they're nodding their head. You know that mean face you make at the studio when you like a beat? You know that face? And the head nod?
Hey, this is the illest mashup right there.
Boom, ba-ba, boom, boom, ba-ba, boom, ba-ba, boom, boom, chicka, 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 boom, ba-ba. And I look at them, and they see me seeing them, and at that moment, all the pressure went off. Then I was rocking when I saw that. And it was one of the greatest moments in my life.
They found cocaine at the White House.
That's the Biden administration. It's not Obama. The cocaine is under Biden.
Only Sonny will segue to. And then they find cocaine there.
It wasn't at the Cassidy party. Why would you segue to that? He said this beautiful story. They want to bring up cocaine in the White House?
He said Stevie dropped it.
Stevie dropped it. Yo, listen.
On the way on stage.
Yo, listen. You know what's crazy about Stevie Wonder? We have so many people who come on this show.
Stevie, man.
We love Stevie Wonder stories. We have so many people because Shaq is still the best.
That's
Shaq
the best.
said
He was like it was believable the way he said it to us.
Shaq said he got in the elevator with Stevie Wonder by himself, just them two. And Stevie pressed the button. Oh, did he say he pressed the button? Or he said, "What's up, Shaq?"
He said, "What's up?"
Yeah.
And then I think he said he pressed the button afterwards.
Who said he was walking the street?
No, but Ron Isley said.
Yeah.
Ron Isley said he saw Stevie Wonder across the street. He was like,
A busy street.
And he said they went and got him. But we, right? I forget exactly
Those
what.
said no, he was by himself.
I mean, it don't matter, man.
Yeah.
If it's
Everyone
exactly
has
enough.
a Stevie
Stevie
story
Wonder
that
story.
transcends logic because
Yeah.
he's actually not a logical person.
Right, it's
You know,
real.
There are really, if you think about it,
Mentally, he's just over it.
And then Dr.
There's
Dre said he
really-
called him at 5 a.m.
yeah, he's
How
known
did
for
he
that.
know?
But
That's why.
there's very few artists that have this level of genius. So it makes sense that most of the stories we hear are beyond, daily logic because his whole being is
No, he's a superhuman.
yes, is
I
magic.
want to talk about a different superhuman. Recently, my friend of mine just released his trailer to a movie. He made me a Lego character. His name is Pharrell Williams.
Pharrell.
What is your connection with Pharrell Williams?
So I've known Pharrell for years, and actually, Pharrell called on me to DJ his three of his closest friends' weddings. I DJ'd Shay's wedding from NERD, and 2 other very close people in his life. So I've known Pharrell throughout the years. He's been a supporter of my career, and on various occasions that were important to him, I was kind of his gift to the wedding, which is very flattering. I mean, it never. I take that responsibility very seriously. I get nervous to DJ parties to this day, especially if it's for someone whom I admire. You know, when Pharrell calls you to DJ a party, Pharrell could call any DJ, and any DJ would jump at the opportunity, as do I. And so when anyone of that stature,
with critical ears,
with extremely critical ears, who most people on earth hold on a very high pedestal. We're not just talking about your average producer. Someone who's commonly thought of as the ears you want to respect you. So when he calls me for a wedding of his 3 best friends, it's something I take very seriously. But I could say that across the board, whether it's the White House or Pharrell or anyone of that nature. Beyonce and Jay.
You worked with them both?
I did their wedding.
That's fucking awesome. What kind of DNA, what is that NDA you had to sign for that? What is it called?
NDA. I mean, it was a long time ago now. I'm sure I'm known for reading things over and over and not signing them on site. I'm sure I just signed it. I do remember I didn't bring anyone. I was asked not to bring like a side man or like a tech.
Wow.
I think I might have been able to bring my tech to sound check. It was at their apartment in Tribeca. It was very small. You know, like you got to understand, no matter how big your apartment is in Manhattan, it's still an apartment. Right? It's still not a house. So I think I might have brought someone for sound check, but no one at night. And I remember it being like a marathon. Like I must have got there at 8. But here's the funny thing. So the only photo of that wedding is me walking into the lobby. So apparently they sent me a car to pick me up in my apartment. The car never showed up. So I took a taxi. So
time out. All right. So, I just want to get this correct. Did you just say you took a taxi?
I took a taxi to their wedding because the car service never showed up. And I didn't want to be late. I didn't want to be late. So I left the apartment, hailed a taxi. This was way before any apps. So all the celebrities are directed from the car services on where to go. So down the garage, right? So all the paparazzi shots are of the celebrities like through the SUVs. But the one shot they have of the whole wedding is me walking in the front door of the main lobby in my like black velvet tuxedo. As I took a taxi. Yeah, had I not done that, there would have been, no first song.
Was there any backlash from them that like say, oh wow?
No.
So right, I'm bouncing around.
I mean, I've done so many events. My mouth was. I never had a big mouth at these things. I mean, that was part of why I was there.
They was getting hired. Okay, I'm bouncing around a little bit. One thing I know is they're very private people. So how do you get this call? And then how do you get the first time you got to work with them?
Right, so I think this was, anyone could Google it, but I think they got married in 2007. Or was it 14? I don't know why I'm thinking it was 7. No, I think it...
Might have been 14.
Might have been 6.
No, it wasn't 14.
Doesn't help us.
I think it was 7. I think it was 7.
Okay, continue.
It was 7.
I got married in 2006.
Nobody cares about when you got married, sir.
And I think it was April 4th. I think they're 2008 April 4th. And I think their lucky number is 4. So was the
4.
Yeah, so it's 4-4. And Blue Ivy is a 4. So I had already been DJing Jay's parties for at least 5 years.
Wow.
So
okay.
So I got my first call from Jay, I think I was still in school, so I must have been maybe 20. And so I would DJ all his parties, his birthdays, then Beyonce's parties when he threw them, the 40/40 Club opening in Atlantic City and Vegas and all of those.
And in school, meaning college.
Yeah, I was in college at that point. And so I had been doing all his parties. So the call to do his wedding was not at all
abnormal.
It was not abnormal at the time. But still, as I said, about all these things, I don't want to say the same thing every topic.
You don't take it for granted.
Look, that's the two greatest entertainers of our time. Mind you, this is now 15 years later, even more the greatest entertainers of our time, right? Like we knew then, but you know now, right? And, you know, they could have anyone, you know, anyone. And also, this wasn't a wedding where they bring out, you know, this R&B singer to sing the first dance and this band to do. No, it was literally just me.
Wow.
And
controlling the whole party.
The entire party from beginning to end.
How do you approach that playlist? Do they tell you?
I got you too.
So, no, I don't think there was any talk of music other than like the first dance and the entrance song, like those songs, you know, that the bride and groom choose.
Right.
I think there was no discussion of music because I had been doing this with him now for years. So,
they already knew how you.
Yeah, I don't think they were coming to me to direct it. I think they were coming to me for me, you know, to do me.
Right.
But I'm, you know, still to this day, and I swear to God, I think about this sometimes. Like when I go to her concerts, right? Like the Renaissance tour, I think about it. I sit there thinking about it. Like I DJ'd their wedding. It still feels like a very big deal to me.
It is a very big
Special.
I don't let those things. I don't allow myself to become jaded. I actually keep those memories as memories that continue to inspire me and hype me up.
As they should, right?
Because the two greatest entertainers in the world could really call anyone. You know, their Rolodex doesn't exist because they can get everyone's number.
Right.
And so, you know, I was as honored then as I am now. In fact, I think I'm more honored now by the memory. I think then I was probably just so in it. But now when I look back, I say, damn, you know, 30 people at that party.
Wow.
That's it. 30 people.
Sounds rich to me.
That's what
No, let me just look. I've been analyzing all night.
There's
I
only
want
4 people
to. I want to see if I'm correct. Is that the Cartier nail? And is that the Cartier Panther?
No, so I'm not wearing one name brand.
Okay, just break this down for me.
Right. So the only thing I'm wearing
This is very debonair. I respect it.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
the only thing that's name brand that I'm wearing is my sneakers, Air Force Ones. Just white Air Force Ones.
So,
and polo shirt.
Okay.
But the suit is custom made. I have all my suits made, all my stage attire made. Contrary to what many people think, it's not more expensive than buying fancy name brand clothes.
Right.
It's not at all. But it's not a money thing. It's a fit thing. It's I never want to walk on stage or walk into a party and someone else has my suit that they bought at Tom Ford or Gucci.
Right.
And also the crazy shit I wear I could never even find in a store.
Right.
You know, I'm tall and skinny. My body never fit things growing up.
Right.
You know, my posture was always bad. I was lanky. I could never fit a suit or a tuxedo.
Right.
So over the years, I started custom making clothes. So, and I buy all my fabrics. So I literally, like, if someone ever says to me, what do you do besides music? I say I make clothes. But I don't make clothes to sell them. I don't go to fashion shows. I know nothing about the brands on Fifth Avenue. I know very little about the fashion industry.
You don't fuck a Fashion Nova?
I actually would, though. You know, the things I do buy are cheap to expensive. There's no rhyme or reason. But really, most of what I buy are basics: the Air Force Ones, the polos. But I have fun going to the fabric store. All the fabric, I choose the fabric.
Wow.
I choose the buttons.
Wow.
The jewelry is vintage that I either bought
like
at.
18 karat 24 to me.
I thought you were going to say.
Okay, so the
1800s.
brooch.
Okay.
So the brooch. Oh, I should have said the glasses are name brand.
Yeah,
But the brooch and the cuffs
Okay.
are straight vintage stores, antique stores, flea markets, estate sales.
Don't say flea markets. He's gonna go crazy.
But that's what I do.
Right.
That's what I do. I
I don't think you should be giving him a 5 on that.
Not gonna lie.
He goes to the bad flea
No,
market.
but it's a different flea market.
It's a different flea market he goes
It's not
to.
a different flea market. I can already tell that we've been in the same.
I can already tell.
No, listen, these guys.
I could give you all the spots. You know, there used to be a store.
This would be a show. You guys shopping together. That would be a show by itself.
That's a win.
That's it.
You know,
Estate sale champs.
There you go. There you go.
They gonna respect us.
Estate sales is where you find all the heat.
Okay.
Right.
because the rich old women die.
That's what I'm saying. People don't understand. Estate sales, when he says that, it's people that passed away and they're selling off the estate.
I don't wear name brand jewelry. Nothing is expensive. Nothing is real gold or diamonds. It's costume jewelry.
Right.
It's costume jewelry. I don't walk around with anything expensive, and has nothing to do with money. It's just what I like.
Right.
I like vintage costume jewelry.
Right.
The hats are all custom made. You know, I started wearing boater hats. I experimented with hats for many years. And so there was this hat store in New York where I grew up on 32nd and 5th called JJ Hat Center.
Yeah. I used to have a studio on 32nd and Madison.
Oh, so you must know that store was there forever. Small store.
Yeah.
So this store was like the classic men's hat store. And every time I would go in there, they'd give me, something that looked like a Run DMC or a Michael Jackson, felt or straw. And there was always this straw, stiff, thick boater hat with this brim that was hard, like a fucking, weapon. And it looked very old school and stately.
Right.
And I thought maybe I could kind of transform that. And it would give me this kind of classic thing, but I would do it, in a different way, in a hip hop way, or just in a different, modern way. So I started experimenting with the boater hat. It became my signature. But then as styles evolved, I wanted a larger brim. So the machines in America can only make the 2-inch brim. Mm-hmm. So the 3-inch brim has to be custom made. But there's only one machine in the world that can make a 3-inch boater hat because of the way the cork is. And that's in Florence, Italy. And one old man has that machine.
Jesus.
And when he dies, it's a wrap.
Wow.
So I order these hats, and you get them when you get them, and sometimes you never do. And the man's literally an 80-year-old man making them on this one machine that can make
them till he can.
And then the wrong sizes come, and they're all padded. So it's a triple layer. You see 1, 2, 3 layers of cork, 3-inch brim hat. So no one really has the 3-inch straw boater hat. It's kind of a unique.
I never knew that's what that was called.
It's called a boater hat. Yeah.
I never knew that. So let me ask you, you've been all over the world. What is one of the strangest places you ever performed at?
Kazakhstan.
You ain't performing Borak's country.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
You went to Borak? You went to Borak land?
So it's nothing like
No, it's it's not at all.
Which is why that country tried to sue him. I mean,
Wait, the whole country tried to sue him?
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, they were highly offended by it.
He got beef with the whole country?
Yeah,
that's
he's beef
fire.
with the whole country.
Okay.
But one interesting thing in Kazakhstan is that they eat horse.
Excuse me?
There's not the only country, though. There's other countries that
Well, it was the first one that I had been. So I go to this country to DJ a black tie gala. Like what you would imagine, trying to think of an American example, but they're all like European galas that would equate to that. Like a gala in Cannes, Amphar.
Okay.
But in Kazakhstan.
Right.
And, I'm seated, I'm a guest before I go on stage, and every single portion of the meal was horse meat. So that was a bizarre experience.
I apologize.
Oh, no, you're good, man.
Have you ever been to
walked in?
Kazakhstan?
You walked in on the horse meat.
This is your office, man.
Have you ever been to Kazakhstan?
Have I had the what?
Have you ever had the horse meat?
The horse meat in Kazakhstan. Hey,
You walked in at a perfect time.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you some tasajo. That's the
in
Cubans eat.
Kazakhstan.
No, I
the
never.
former USSR.
No.
Okay, we had him speak about it earlier.
You ever had horse?
I had buffalo.
Buffalo, no horse.
No horse.
Bison's, yeah.
I got buffalo wings.
Different buffalo, buddy. You were gonna say something, sir.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. So we spoke about, Steve spoke about it earlier. But how did you come up with this Pastor Mike idea? Was it during the pandemic?
Yeah. So in April 2020, early pandemic. Early, when no one really knew what was going on.
All right.
When I was, cleaning my groceries with Clorox wipes, that whole era. I was FaceTiming one night with my friend and mentor, Verdine White of Earth, Wind & Fire, whom I mentioned earlier when we started.
Nice floors. Continue.
And so Verdine has been a hero of mine as far back as I can remember, and I can tell you the story about how we met after, but he and I go to dinner every now and then, once every couple months. So I called him to check in on him in this crazy time. And we were FaceTiming. Now, for those who know Verdine, everything I say about my clothes and my fashion, he's times 1,000. I mean, he's the originator. He's the originator. And so I FaceTime him, and he's sitting on his couch in like red silk pajamas, looking like Verdine White should. And while I'm FaceTiming with him, the Earth, Wind song, That's the Way of the World, comes on my Sonos speakers in the back. And Verdine hears his own song, and he begins to casually sing along. Hearts of fire, create love, desire. So this ballad on a regular day gives me chills. It's one of those ballads that just touches me.
Yep.
But in this moment, those chills were multiplied. It's a crazy time in the world. I was literally alone for 3 months. I didn't have human contact for 3 months, but at that point it was still new.
Right.
And he starts singing along.
Talking about during the pandemic?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first 3 months.
Okay.
And he starts singing along, just like nothing, to his own song. And I didn't take that moment for granted. I said to myself, as he's talking, how fortunate am I to have relationships with so many of my musical heroes? And how fortunate am I to be able to experience their music in this intimate way? It's crazy how we started this conversation, however many, now it's, an hour maybe. And it all comes back to the same thing. Because the first things you asked me were about my heroes and my friendships and relationships. And that's what sparked the whole thing. So I said to myself at that moment, maybe there's a way for me to give people around the world during this crazy time the feeling that I have right now at this moment of interacting with their favorite artists and experiencing their favorite songs in a more personal way than ever before. And a light bulb went off. And I immediately envisioned what became Pass the Mic. I envisioned myself in my living room, in front of the fireplace, with the palm trees and the flamingo wallpaper and the lights dimmed down low. And I envisioned myself dropping iconic hip hop and R&B records and bringing on screen the legendary hip hop and R&B icon who sings that song to sing along. And I said, Verdine, I gotta call you back. And I called my editor, Ian, and I said, Ian, I said, we all know on Zoom and FaceTime, if I trigger a song, no one can sing along in real time. They'll be 5 seconds late. How could we do it? And 48 hours later, we concocted a way to break the code and have me trigger songs and have people sing along in real time. And I started calling every icon of 1970s and 80s R&B that I had relationships with. Now, I knew I couldn't call people that I had never met because the idea was so crazy, no one would do this. They had to have some level of trust in me. So I called back Verdine and his partner in crime from Earth, Wind & Fire, Philip Bailey, and Cool from Kool and the Gang, and Patrice Rushen and Ray Parker Jr. and Cheryl Lynn and Howard Hewitt and Steve Arrington. And I said, guys, I have this idea. I'm gonna sit in my living room in front of my turntables, and every time I drop one of your records, you're gonna pop on screen to sing along.
Right. Now, did the verses come out before this? Or the D-Nice, is this before that or this is after?
It's around the same time.
It's all around the same time.
Okay. I'm just trying to picture. Yeah. Sorry.
I know D-Nice started DJing on Instagram Live almost immediately when the lockdown started.
Right.
So that probably preceded this phone call. Versus, I'm forgetting the exact month they started, but I think it was all around the same few months. March, April, May, June, July, it was all very much happening. And I start calling everyone. And shockingly, everyone says yes.
Right.
Except Philip Bailey of Earth, Wind & Fire. So I call Verdine and I go, Verdine, can you talk to your, best friend of, 50 years? And he goes, Philip is very cautious and he likes to understand what he's doing. So I called Philip's daughter, Trinity. I said, Trinity, can you help me? And finally, I finished the entire episode.
Okay. You never told me that he said no.
He said no.
But, my best friend's, at your birthday party when I wanted to strangle him.
No, God, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. We're gonna spin the block on that.
There's a lot of things we got to put a pin in, but that's one.
But go ahead.
So I filmed the whole show and edited the whole show. Now, some things that people don't realize about the show is the show took me anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks to create, to conceptualize, to playlist, to reach out to the artists, to film them all individually, and then to put everything together so it looked like I never got up from the chair. So the first episode is now assembled, and it's for Dean White playing bass on the song that inspired the whole thing, That's the Way of the World. Into Saida Garrett doing her duet with Michael Jackson, I Just Can't Stop Loving You. Into Patrice Rushen doing Remind Me. Into Denise Williams. So on and so on. And now there's 20 R&B icons. And I call Philip Bailey's daughter, and I say, can I please speak to your dad? So she puts me on the phone. I go, Philip. I said, remember that thing I was talking about? He said, yeah. I said, look, I finished the whole episode. I left the space for you to sing with Maurice White. Maurice White, who died, I think, now about 10 years ago, the founder of the group, he sings half the song. The song is Maurice White and Philip Bailey. So I said, I want you to sing with Maurice White. So I said, look, I'm going to send you the episode. Okay, let's schedule a time to do it. I'm going to send it to you. If you don't love how this turned out, we never had the call.
Okay.
But on everything I've ever said, on everything we've ever collaborated on, and we had collaborated on a few things, I said, give me 30 minutes of your time. And you have my word that you'll be proud of the product. So he did it, and I edited it, and I sent it to him, and 5 minutes later, his daughter texted me and said approved. And that was the beginning of what became something I could have never, ever imagined. And I finished this episode in late May, early June. And I didn't premiere it till a month later. And I texted it to Steve, who didn't know anything about it at that point. And I said, Steve, watch this and call me back.
And you had recorded it online? On Instagram Live or no?
No. He pre-recorded.
Oh, you just pre-recorded?
Yeah,
Okay.
So Instagram had nothing to do with Pass the Mic ever.
It was YouTube.
It was premiered on YouTube.
Right.
And it was never filmed on Instagram Live or Zoom or any of the common apps we use.
Okay.
It was a show that I filmed individually, edited, but when you couldn't go to anyone's house, it was quite a puzzle to put together on how to teach artists, some of whom at that time were
how to use their
over the age of 70.
Right. Or computers, right.
So I sent it to Steve. Now, before I sent it to Steve, I had sent this to every blog, every website, every magazine, every network, and said, would you premiere this for me? Nope. Now, you know, like a new single premieres, new music video premiere, it's a little vanity thing. It's not a big deal. Couldn't get one person to premiere it.
Wow.
Get out of here.
And my YouTube subscribership was low. I'm not a YouTuber. I have a basic subscribership.
Right.
I've had 6 music videos. So I send it to Steve Rifkind, who's my dear friend and mentor for many years. And I say, Steve, watch this. Now, he has no idea what he's about to watch. So he calls me 28 minutes later and says, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I said, since COVID? And he said, no, ever. He said, this is going to change your life.
Right.
And it changed my life.
Right.
Okay, hold on, because I feel like we're hearing all the name droppings that you can that you're saying and all the things that you've done up to this point. But I want to go further back. How does this 10-year-old DJ who starts to get these turntables, starts DJing, then you go to high school, college. What is the break that makes you feel that, okay, there's something here, I could really do this, I could do a career in this? What's the break? What's the thing that starts to get these people to call you to do these parties, to give you these collaborations, connects you with these artists?
There were many moments, and I'll tell you as many as you want to hear. But it started when I was 10 years old, and I DJ'd every single possible opportunity I had to be in front of people. I never enjoyed DJing in my bedroom. I was never a real scratch master.
Right.
I was never that guy. I was never a competition style.
turntablist,
Yeah, I
right.
was never a turntablist. I was a party DJ. So there's only so much you can do in your room. You can't practice routines. You need to be in front of people.
Yeah, because you feed off the crowd.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I would DJ every rinky-dink school, carnival.
You're the first two guests who drank the Monster, just so y'all know.
Really?
Monster water. Those are waters.
Monster water. Make your choices, y'all. We appreciate that. I'm sorry.
Monster
Is
water all the
this,
time.
is this a sponsor?
Yes.
Shout out to-
People at Monster.
shout out to
That's
Monster,
right. That's
So
right.
we just raised the value.
But guests usually you just go straight for the drinks. They don't. But we appreciate y'all. But go ahead, continue.
So I DJ'd every possible thing I could.
Right.
And I brought my milk crates of records and my turntables to school. And although it sounds silly, it gave me my first experiences in front of anyone. Now, I didn't value these kids' musical opinion. In fact, I kind of had disdain for it. I wanted to be in real life.
Right.
But as a 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade kid, and then into high school, it was a beginning. School homecoming parties, school dances, school proms. And then in this era of New York, there were a lot of underage nightclubs that were just out in the open. And I don't know how this existed. But there were full-on nightclubs that high school kids went to and everyone knew it and there was no
We have
carding.
those out here too in Miami. Yeah.
Jam,
Like the Pack Jam. Yeah.
Carpenter.
So I started DJing some of these parties, and that was kind of chapter 2 because I was out there.
Right.
And then one thing led to another, and I met some party promoters who at the time I thought and were real deal party promoters in actual New York City nightclubs.
Right.
And I went from doing these kind of high school underage parties to actual New York hotspots to some degree.
And you were 10?
No. By this, I'm now 17, 18, 19.
That would have been crazy if he was 10.
Yeah, well, I had to learn how to use the turntable first.
Right.
And those clubs were really the first exposure to real people.
Right.
You know, in the 90s, everyone wanted to be an intern for a hip hop label.
Right.
And if I was old enough at the time, I would have wanted to intern for Steve at Loud Records. That was, there were a few labels you would have interned at, as a dream. Loud Records, Def Jam Records.
Yep.
I remember when he was 13 years old, he would be at the office and we would give him records.
Wow.
Because, back in the day, there was obviously no internet.
Right.
And the only way to get the newest hot record was to get it from the record label,
Yep.
to be in the record pools. Being in the record
Be
pools.
on their list. That was
So
a
at 13
dream.
years old, you already had a name in the industry?
I had no name, but I was meeting everyone I could.
Okay.
And would somehow get to Loud Records. That wasn't the moment that changed the game, but I had my antennas out.
Right.
And so what I was saying was, you wanted to intern. So one of the places I interned as a high schooler was actually not for someone in the music business, but in the fashion business. But in this era, DJing for this person was as good as DJing at a record label. Can anyone guess what that might be?
The first.
Andy Hilfiger.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, gonna be something right up there.
So I interned for Tommy Hilfiger's brother, Andy. Now, Tommy Hilfiger in the mid to late 90s was a revolving door of hip hop artists. So being an intern for Andy Hilfiger meant you folded rugbies and polos for Q-Tip and for Raekwon and for Snoop. And so that was another kind of path that led me out into the world. I remember Andy Hilfiger took me to Andre Harrell's white party at Tavern on the Green in 1995. I was 14. So Andre Harrell became a very dear friend and mentor
Rest in peace.
to me.
Rest in peace.
When he passed, I was filming Past the Mic, and I always wished he could have seen it because so much of what I do on the microphone comes from Andre Harrell. But I want to get to that because that's a whole important piece of the puzzle. But sure. So the Hill Figures bring me to Tavern on the Green in Central Park for Andre Harrell's famed white party. And I remember watching Kid Capri tear down that party. Now, you have to remember, I've only maybe been to 3 parties. It wasn't like I had been to 30 of these. I know Kid Capri killed that one more than the other 29. I hadn't been anywhere.
Right.
I just heard about it.
Right.
So I'm watching Kid Capri.
He's a master.
The master. And I'm watching Andre Harrell MC the party. And I can picture myself where I was standing at Tavern on the Green. And I looked at Andre and I looked at Kid Capri and I said, I want to do that. And that became one of my goals.
Goddamn, makes noise for that.
And so I want to tell you something else. So the years, I think 2002, I interned for Def Jam as well in those years. And now I'm just making a name for myself. So I'm finally getting the records from the labels without having to beg. And it's 2002, and the hottest record in the clubs is a song called Nothing.
Oh, goddamn it.
By Noriega. And maybe I went to, and excuse my voice today, I'm a little hoarse, but.
Okay.
You need some more water or anything?
No, I'm good, but that's why I'm drinking a lot, so I am a little hoarse. So I hear Flex playing this record, over and over and over.
Right.
And I'm now knee deep in the club, so I know this is the hottest record. I'm DJing at Cheetah on 21st Street.
God damn it. 21st Street. And Justin's was right down the block.
Across the street.
Across the street, yep.
How old were you then?
I was 21.
Okay.
So I don't have this record.
Oh, wow.
So I go to Fat Beats. They don't have the record. I go to Rock and Soul. They have a bootleg. I don't want a bootleg.
So I would have got the bootleg.
So I was always like a Sonic, So I go to Def Jam, and I say, I need 2 copies of Nothing.
Right.
When I tell you they didn't want to give me 2 copies.
Wow.
It was so on fire.
Right.
It's like the scene in Crush Groove when they're printing It's Like That, or King of Rock in the movie, and they can't keep them on the show. I couldn't get a copy.
Wow.
So they finally give me 2 copies, and I go home, and I put on the turntable to practice a few things, and it skips. So I take it off, and I put on the double, and it skips.
Yeah, that pressing skips. I worked the record down here.
Oh, so don't kill my punchline. So I go to Def Jam back the next day, and I wish I remembered who was doing the street team.
Was it Rob Love?
Well, he was head of it.
It definitely could have been Rob Love.
No, yeah.
All right, let's make it Rob Love. So I go into Rob Love's office.
It's definitely Rob Love.
And I say, I need 2. And so I say, I need 2 more.
Right.
Said, no, we just gave you 2. You begged for them yesterday.
Right.
I said, they're skipping at an integral part of the song. It's not even the 3rd verse. It's like at the beginning.
Right.
So I said, he goes, well, those are your 2. I said, the whole batch is fucked up, I'm telling you. So he goes, you're crazy, get out of here. So I said, you have a turntable here? He says, yeah. I said, whose office is the turntable in? So whose ever office that was. And we take the vinyl, and I say to him, take 2 vinyl from anywhere in this stack. Top, middle, bottom. I'm like David Blaine with the cards. Just pick a vinyl. So he puts them on, same spot, same pot. I said, I just discovered a flaw in your pressing. You never
heard this?
I called
I said you need to reprint.
was fucking up your record.
I did hear it, but I didn't remember it like how he just described it.
The whole pressing was fucked up.
The whole pressing was fucked up.
Yeah.
But this is what's ill. This is how big the record was. People were still playing the fucking record.
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck.
You can't stop a hit record.
Yeah.
And you can't stop word of mouth, right? So at the end of the day.
In my early days of DJing, when I felt, I don't want to say when I was getting hot, when I felt I was getting hot. I'm in no place to say I was getting hot. That's for other people to say. But when I felt I was getting a little hot, there were 4 hip hop records of that era that were the biggest and greatest club records ever at that time.
Right.
And they have all stood the test of time and remain songs that kids in their 20s now would sing every word to.
Right.
And those songs are Jay-Z, Give It To Me, Nori, Nothing,
2 Pharrells.
50 Cent, In the Club,
Yes.
and Lean Back. Now there's no way to explain what those songs did if you weren't there. You can try. Some things you just have to feel. You can't explain what it was. We could play the song 4 times in a row.
Right. Right.
And it was a magical moment in New York. And, you know, I always tell people there's a lot of things that allow your stars to align in life. It's not just talent. It's not just luck. There's so many stars that have to align.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of them is being a New Yorker who rose to prominence in the era of that music.
Yes.
That's luck.
Right.
Because if I was coming of age now in New York, I don't think my life would have taken the same course because the music is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so disposable now. It's kind of like, yeah.
And hip hop is different. DJ culture is different. But,
Everything is different now.
yeah, but I was coming of age. I don't even want to say rise to prominence. I was coming of age in an era of New York hip hop that was magical.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
And it gave me a platform because those parties, as you talk about the hot parties, the exclusive parties, you can't DJ them if they're not happening.
Yep.
And they were happening, and they were happening in my backyard. And all the music you played at those parties was being recorded in my backyard from people who grew up in New York.
Right.
And that's the stars aligning. You could have been born anywhere else, or you could have been brought up anywhere else.
Well, I want to stop for a second. I want to let you know that our show is about giving people their flowers. You know, why they alive, you know what I mean? Why they could smell them, man. We wanted to give y'all both.
Yeah, even though you an alumni, Steve, you still get them again.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So,
Before we start quick time, I'm going to take a quick piss.
Drink Champs Army, download it now. Use the code Drink Champs. First time subscribers get 50% off, $250 off the $500 deposit. Make sure you get the special pick'ems and fuck with us because we doing it. Underdog Fantasy. Hey!
yeah, I was scared. So look, literally, let me ask. Because, like you said, you did a whole bunch of Pastor Mikes. What made you pick for your residency, right? The one that's in Vegas. What made you pick these artists? I'm not actually y'all both. You know what I mean? Whoever want to go first. How did y'all make that decision?
Before you go,
Yeah.
when it comes to curating music,
Right.
I feel he's probably the best DJ in the world.
I respect that.
When it comes to somebody curating a show. So he's always going to come with the mural, right? And then I'll say, you know what, maybe add this color, add that color. But to me, he's one of the best DJs in the world. I'm not going to question his thing. Sometimes I'll say, you're out of your fucking mind on this.
Right.
But I mean, he puts this together. So
Right.
I'm really 95% of the time I'm not going to question his curation.
Okay, so before you say this, how does this work? Does the Vegas Residency reach out to you, and then you say to Steve, "Yo, listen, this is what or how does this work?"
So first of all, thank you, Steve, because those are very big words to say the greatest of anything. And I want to answer your question, but can I take 60 seconds just to say that I'm a product of so many people.
Right.
I'm a product of Dougie Fresh, who, without watching him over the years, I would have no idea how to unite artists on stage. He's the godfather of that, and in many ways has, I don't want to say passed me the torch, allowed me to hold the torch. And he's another hero that has become a dear friend. And I studied, of course, Flash, Herc, and Bambaataa, but also Kid Capri and SNS and Funkmaster Flex.
All legends you're mentioning.
And without all of those people I just named and Andre Harrell as a master of the microphone, there would be no DJ Cassidy and certainly no Pass the Mic. I mean, everything I say on the mic is all of those guys in a blender.
Right.
So there were chapters to this journey. You know, I told you the story of the first episode. After the first episode, I knew I wanted to celebrate my hip-hop heroes. And whereas the first episode started with Earth, Wind, and Fire, the second episode started with Run DMC.
Wow.
And went from Run DMC to LL Cool J.
You got DMC too? Run and DMC?
Yep, and they did Sucker MCs together.
Wow.
And then LL did Radio. And then Chuck D did Rebel Without a Pause.
I saw that.
And then Rakim did Eric B as president. And then Dougie Fresh did The Show. And Big Daddy Kane did Warm It Up,
man.
Kane.
Right.
And, you know, over 25 artists were on that show, most of which who then joined us at my Radio City Pass the Mic show last summer, which was a full circle moment. And then after Volume 2, there was a Volume 3, where I wanted to pay homage to my R&B heroes of the 90s, the New Jack Swing era. And that show featured Keith Sweat and Boyz II Men and TLC and SWV and all 6 members of New Edition. And then in a very long story short, the show went from Steve Rifkind to Jesse Collins, renowned television producer of every award show known to man, to Connie Orlando at BET. Volume 1 that I did completely on my own premiered in July. Volume 2, August. Volume 3, October. Volume 4, a television special, November 29th, 5 weeks later, that over 2 million TVs watched. And I don't want to speak for you. I'm curious to hear your opinion. I could have never, in my wildest imagination, thought that that would become a full-on television special in a matter of 5 weeks with millions of TVs tuned into it on its first airing.
Well,
I told you your life was going to change. So at the end of the day, I mean, I knew what this was.
Right.
And I knew how he curated.
Let me ask something. The first one that you did, was everybody involved in it strictly off of all the relationships you built?
Yes, 100%.
Like it wasn't about like you're hiring these people to do this. It was all
No, it was
relationship
either
based.
people that were in my phone or people those people knew and conferenced in.
Right.
Right. But because it's important for people to understand like the power of relationships.
Yeah. So let's go through it if I can remember. So for Dean and Philip, I've told you that story.
yep.
Saida Garrett, who wrote Man in the Mirror for Michael Jackson and sang on I Just Can't Stop Loving You, is a dear friend. Patrice Rushen, who sings Remind Me, which has been sampled in hip hop 1,000 times, and you know, Forget Me Nots, which became Men in Black. I called her directly. She was a friend. Howard Hewitt of Shalimar, called him directly. Who else? Ray Parker Jr. called him directly. I said, Ray, you played on To Be Real by Cheryl Lynn, right? He said, yeah. I said, do you keep in contact with her? He said, of course. Now she's on the phone. And the list goes on. When I called Big Daddy Kane to take part in Volume 2, I looked at my text. I hadn't spoken to Big Daddy Kane in 6 years. I don't call Big Daddy Kane,
Right.
but I do have his number. And I called him in July of 2020, so almost 4 years ago. And he picks up the phone and goes, hey, Cass, if you're calling me about that Pass the Mic thing, I'm in.
Wow.
And those were the kind of answers I was getting strictly based on Volume 1.
Right.
And so Volume 1, 2, and 3 were just a snowball. And by the time it went from Steve to Jesse Collins to Connie Orlando, it's now a series of BET specials, and it went from 25,000 people watching on YouTube Live to 100 on YouTube Live to maybe 250,000 to literally Nielsen ratings like 2.1 million televisions on the first airing. And long story short, after 7 television specials and 10 episodes altogether. I had passed the mic to 220 legends. And those 220 legends spanned 40 years of hip hop and R&B. Earth, Wind & Fire, Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, Charlie Wilson, Hall & Oates, New Edition, TLC, SWV, En Vogue, Keith Sweat, Teddy
Crazy,
Riley.
man. Crazy. Come on. We got, now we need where you got it.
And that was just the first 3. And then Missy Elliott, Wyclef Jean, Busta Rhymes, Wu-Tang Clan, Ice Cube, Sean Paul, Shaggy, Supercat, Maxi Priest. I mean, we did a whole episode.
Nobody can get Supercat to do anything. You got Supercat.
So, and we did a whole episode of
Supercat,
reggae
man.
music. And I want to thank this amazing woman, Sharon Burke. Sharon Burke is kind of like the mayor of reggae music. And I met Sharon because she helped me get Shaggy. No, I'm sorry. She helped me get Beanie Man on a previous episode. And we hit it off. And I called her and I said, Sharon, I told BET I want to do the next episode all reggae. I said, will you co-produce it with me? And she did. And we produced this episode that featured Shaka Demus and Pliers, Terra Fabulous, Sister Nancy doing Bum Bum. And you know, her story is incredible. She deserves her flowers because that song has been used.
I think she got a documentary right now. They got a documentary about it right now.
Right, so it all just came full circle. She never made a cent from this track or the top line or the song for years. And so she was on the show. And so Sharon calls me and says, you have to come to Kingston for the premiere.
Ooh.
So I'm used to watching the show in my living room with a couple friends. I never did anything. She says, you know, it's just after COVID, we're just flying again. She says, you have to come to Kingston.
Man, that must have been ill.
And so I'd never been to Jamaica, let alone Kingston. So Sharon Burke throws this event for me. And all the artists who were on the show, the mass majority live in Kingston. So they all came. Junior Reed, who did One Blood on the show. And words can't really explain what I felt on that trip. You know, for me, Pass the Mic was, and in some senses still feels like my living room show in which I'm surprised if anyone who I don't know has ever heard of it.
Right.
So when I walk into Kingston and everyone knows that the show's happening, it hasn't even aired yet, and everyone knows it's airing and there's a whole show dedicated to reggae, it was really, it was quite a feeling. And honestly, in many senses, I have favorite episodes for different reasons, but that's my favorite episode because I think we stepped out of the comfort of hip hop and R&B to some respect. But as a kid, dancehall music was hip hop.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I learned dancehall music through Funk Master Flex. That was my in to knowing Supercat Records.
Yeah.
I learned it through hip hop, just like I learned soul music from hip hop.
Right.
So after 10 episodes, 220 icons spanning 40 years. And then Steve gets an email from the Black Promoters Collective, who's an independent concert promoter, who was very hot that year with the New Edition tour and the Mary tour and the Maxwell tour. And they said, have you thought about taking the show on the road? And of course we had. But they saw the vision. And over the past year, we've been putting on Pass the Mic live concerts across the country. And I've been walking out in front of arenas that are sold out with 10 to 15,000 people. And there's no feeling like this because at the end of the day, this whole thing started with this little idea of calling artists and convincing them to do this crazy concept to bring celebration to people at a crazy time. And it turned into a celebration of the soundtrack of our lives. It turned into a celebration of our favorite songs and our favorite artists, a celebration of our heroes. And so I have this incredible, over the past year, I've had this incredible opportunity every month to walk on stage and experience that celebration in front of 10 to 15,000 people with my heroes on stage. And every one of those shows has been a unique show. The show in North Carolina was different than the show in New Jersey. It was different from the show at Radio City. So every show is like a special event, curated specifically for that time and place. And the show at Radio City was the greatest night of my life. Sugar Hill Gang, Curtis Blow, Kool Mo D, Busy B, KRS-One, MC Shan. But listen to what I just said, though. On one stage, Kool Mo D, Busy B, MC Shan, KRS-One.
You brought the rivals
Those are
together.
two infamous beefs. And Naughty by Nature, and Rakim and Big Daddy Kane, and KRS-One and Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick, and Lords of the Underground, and the Fushnikins and EPMD. And I will never forget every minute of the night. I don't think it can be topped. It's my thriller now. It's like in its own. I can't touch that in my own heart and soul. It was everything that I ever dreamt of, and I felt. I don't feel it often, but I felt that night that I had made some contribution, that I did something for the music and the culture that gave me life and identity. I remember some artists saying that night that they had never been to Radio City. And I got a call from Roxanne Shante the next morning telling me just that.
Wow.
And it's we talked about a lot of memories early on. I think in one of the stories I said at that time, that was the greatest night. This was the greatest night of my life. So all this led to Vegas. And you asked about the artist. And
yeah, how did you pick those particular artists?
It's always been, I just want to say, about the artist, right? I'm really just the messenger. I'm just really, I have the fortunate position of being a bridge.
Right.
And if I'm nothing else in my life but that bridge, I'm happy with that. And I really feel, again, sorry for this voice, but I really feel that, this is going to sound very poetic, but I feel in all episodes and shows that pass the mic, the artists have chosen themselves. I think it was always just clear. When Steve and Live Nation first started talking about Vegas, I was immediately inspired by the shows that we think of as the iconic Vegas shows. Yeah. The Rat Pack.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said earlier. Yeah, he wasn't even in here. I said that.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley, Liberace. Steve always calls me Liberace. So
he definitely did.
So I can't wait to hear what was said before I got here.
Good stuff. Yeah, good stuff.
So the Rat Pack, Elvis Presley, Liberace, Wayne Newton.
And these are the first people who were residencies?
They were the first ones to have long-term,
most
definitive residencies. There were people in between.
I'm sorry for cutting you. I did forget. My father did bring Elvis to Vegas.
He brought him to Elvis? He brought Elvis to Vegas?
Yeah, at the International Hotel.
And he's told me that before.
Wow.
So that's the DNA of this conception. And when this started, I didn't know that.
Right.
As the aesthetic and vibe started to form, he told me that. So I've always been fascinated with old world Las Vegas, with Fremont Street, the old hotels, the gangster stories, the neon signs, the lights, the glamour.
The black and white of it all, the mob.
Right, exactly, the black and white of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not boy.
The black and white of it all, even though it was actually very bright.
Very bright. Yeah.
So I thought about the Rat Pack, and I thought about, who are they? Were they unknowns? No. They were 5 stars.
The first Wu-Tang Clan.
Is that the reason why the flyer, when you see the Bastard Mike, it's like almost like the Rat Pack? I didn't even think of that.
Exactly. So the Rat Pack is 5 stars. Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, Joey Bishop, and, can you name the 5th? Peter Lawford.
Peter Lawford.
He
So
was T-Mon's brother-in-law, I think, too.
Yeah, so these guys were singers, actors, comedians. They didn't need each other. They were stars. But what did they do? They came together and formed an ensemble that the world had never seen, that you could only see in one place, and that place was Las Vegas. And remember how we started, and I said if an alien came from outer space and said, what is hip-hop?
Yep.
I would show him a picture of Run DMC, Jam Master Jay, and play him
So this is the
sucker
Vegas
MCs.
residency.
If an alien came from outer space and said, what is Las Vegas? I would show them the Rat Pack.
Great.
So I thought there was an opportunity to create something groundbreaking and something trailblazing. There is very little hip hop in the concert space in Las Vegas. There is almost no hip hop in the residency space.
Well, Wu-Tang, didn't Wu-Tang have a...
Yep,
But
they
that's
just
relatively
finished 4
new.
nights
That's
and they have New
relatively new.
September, and that's brand new.
Okay,
Right.
cool.
So
And Drink Champs, we're coming soon.
Yeah.
there you go. We need you in July.
Yeah, and Usher and Usher, even though Mary's considered hip hop, overall they don't probably, because Usher and Mary.
There's been a bunch of R&B for sure.
Okay.
But virtually, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, there's been no hip hop in the residency space, very little in the concert space. And certainly DJs have always existed in Vegas in the world of nightlife,
Right.
but not in the world of concerts. So I saw a tremendous opportunity to take inspiration from those that made Vegas what it is and to redefine it through a hip hop lens, through a New York lens largely, and to create an ensemble cast of 5 artists that all have their global careers, that don't need to come together, but choose to come together to create a once-in-a-lifetime experience that you can only see in Vegas. And all roads led to Ja Rule, Fat Joe, Slick Rick, and Dougie Fresh, and myself as the core 5. And Ja Rule has coined us the Rap Pack.
The rap.
Relax.
And you know every night.
Right. So it's every night it comes.
So it's
Yeah,
a July.
residence, because it's just as long as there's it could be every week, every night,
So,
every
this
month.
is every weekend for the month of July.
Yeah.
every weekend.
Yes, it's Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday.
So on night 1, we have Raekwon and Ghostface as our special guests.
Every night one?
No, just on night 1
night
of
one,
the
okay.
residency.
I thought you meant every first night of the weekend.
On night 2 of the residency, we have Public Enemy joining us on stage. Now, I just want to talk about this for a second. Public Enemy, first of all, has only performed once in America in 7 years,
Wow.
meaning 7 years ago.
Right.
Out of all the people involved in the residency, for some reason, Chuck has been the person who has posted the ad for the show more than anyone. I cannot tell you what that means. There's really no words to explain how I feel when I see Pass the Mic Live on Chuck D's
Chuck D's
Instagram.
the truth, man. He's the truth.
The ultimate truth.
Yeah.
Like capital TRUTH.
Yeah, he's the
There's
truth.
no more truth.
Yeah.
Night 3 and 4, we are welcoming a global icon, a Steve Rifkind label mate and discovery. Akon. And night 5, we are welcoming Jermaine Dupri and Da Brat
Nice.
together doing something very special that we're currently curating. And night 6, we're welcoming Too Short and Warren G. And it's going to be a very special night. Obviously, Vegas is in the West Coast, so that's going to be a particularly...
And just to be clear for the people watching and listening, when you say welcoming to the addition to Fat
It's
Joe,
not like the other artists won't be there. The other artists
it's in
will still be
addition
there.
to them.
In
right?
addition.
Right.
Yeah.
And the great thing about the month of July for this year is you have the NBA Summer League
In
number one,
Vegas.
in Vegas, but you also have the Olympic team practicing.
Oh, wow.
So pretty much 85% of the NBA is going to be in Vegas. So this will literally be the #1 residency for the month of July.
And what hotel is this at?
Caesars.
Caesars, okay.
Planet Hollywood, owned by Caesars.
Okay.
So, and when this all started, Steve was very adamant about July. You know, I'm not a sports guy. As I've said several times, Steve is.
Right.
And so Steve goes, no, I go to Vegas every July. You can feel the energy, the culture. We have to do it in July. And he was right. And, you know, Ja and Joe and Rick and Doug and myself are designing an experience like you've never seen before. If you've been to a Pass the Mic concert over the past year, you've seen a 3-hour continuous show with no intermission and no breaks and no moments of silence and no opening acts and no headliners. It's straight 100 miles per hour from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. But in Vegas, we're taking that and multiplying it times 10.
So what does that mean?
We are creating a show that is more interweaved and collaborative than ever before.
If I didn't believe in this, I was supposed to do Allow 30 on July 5th. And knowing what he does, I said, Cassidy, I'm going to shut my show down. And I was doing the big theater, T-Mobile, which holds 22,000 people. And I had Wu, 3-6, I had everybody. And I deaded it for this. That's how much I believed in this, because even though it's a month, this is going to be, you know, when he mentioned Wayne Newton or you know, this is going to last, because what they're doing it's an experience. It's just not a typical hip hop show. This is really going to be a real fucking experience and take it to a whole different place.
I respect that. I think I'm giving you a contact high.
He's
No,
not.
I'm great. No,
I keep looking. I'm like, man, he's all right, man.
I was losing my voice before I got in.
You blame Nori, bro. You blame Nori.
I was losing the voice already, but now it's taken to a different level.
You want to explain them the rules with Quick Time Islam?
You get two choices. You say this or that. If you pick one, nobody drinks.
Right.
If you say both or neither, which
Yeah, I
is the
get it.
politically correct
I
answer,
get it.
we all drink. That's it.
Yeah, I get it.
Right. So I'm gonna start with you, Steve. Tupac or DMX?
Both.
See, but when they're not drinking, they just say both.
Drink it up.
Salud.
Drink it up. Cheers, y'all.
Okay.
No,
this
I'm
is
ready.
also to you again, Steve.
Oh, my life. This mama wanted.
Now this one, yeah, I think you're gonna. Let me not lead the witness.
Yeah, don't lead the witness, bro.
MOP or Mobb Deep?
Come on, Nori. I mean, what the fuck?
I mean, it should be
Sorry,
easy in a sense.
No, I mean, they're both loud. I mean, how can I?
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking, but Mobb Deep was first.
Yeah, Norris a foul too.
No, this is not. Those are guys who write these questions.
over there.
The
I
Colombian
would
and
say
the
both.
Dominican.
I would say both, but I'm saying,
I mean,
You're leading the witness now.
No, I'm gonna. You know, I had more records with Mobb Deep
Okay.
Nice.
than I did with MOP.
So you're saying
But Annie Up might be one of my favorite records of all time.
a lot of our favorite
Both.
records?
He does say that often.
Jesus Christmas.
Cop out Rifkind over here.
Damn.
You know,
All right, man.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Cassidy. Nas or Kiss? Jada Kiss, to be exact.
Are we allowed to
You can
explain
elaborate.
answers?
Yeah, you can elaborate. You can
Yeah,
say
you-
why, your criteria of why you would say one or the other,
Yeah.
or both.
Nas.
Okay.
My favorite album of all time is Illmatic,
Mine too.
and it holds a very special place in my heart. And so anything that includes Nas might go to Nas because of that.
Okay.
I respect
fair.
that answer. Yeah, you do.
All right. Steve. RZA or Pete Rock?
Yeah, they wild.
And you gotta, he did it masterfully, so.
I mean, I'm not as smart as he is.
You are! Come on! You're his mentor! You have to be.
Zoe's out here with no break.
Wow, man. Let's just say
They are both loud artists. I mean, you can say both. I ain't mad at both.
Oh, you don't even know.
nah. You gotta go both.
Steve.
Cheers for that.
I mean, let them give me a real question.
Diplomacy.
All right. You want me to do this one?
Yeah, you can do that one.
All right, I'm not talking to you anymore, Steve. Cass,
Let's go.
Wu-Tang or NWA?
Wu-Tang.
Dang, you said hella fast.
I'm from New York. You know, it's
That's a good answer.
I experienced it.
I'm not talking to you.
It's not music versus music for me. It's just memories versus memories. I experienced it in a different way.
I get it.
As a New Yorker, I experienced NWA in the moment more secondhand. So I don't have the same kind of memories with that music. Although I love it and I know every word,
Close.
I didn't experience it the same way.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite arguments on Drink Champs with you and Tony Yayo. Where,
That's not the same. That's
yeah,
not
but
from
I
that.
feel like that he just broke it down.
No, bro.
Yeah, because
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
The way he broke it
the way
down.
he broke it down.
The way he broke it down, the experience,
The
and all that.
experience,
I get
that's
I
what
get
I meant by it. Like, I'm not bringing
But still, no. Tony Yayo completely misconstrued the whole thing.
I love it.
He asked me my top five. I told him who I was. He did not like it, and then engaged in an argument.
I loved it.
Beautiful.
He asked you top 5 rappers of all time?
Yeah, and I've always been the biggest Ice Cube fan. I said Ice Cube was in my top 5. He was my number 1. And then he didn't like the answer.
Ice Cube did pass the mic.
Yeah.
Ice Cube did do Pass the Mic. He was the 220th artist.
God damn. Big up Ice Cube, wherever you at.
Yeah.
We need you back on Drink Champs.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Jay-Z or Big Daddy Kane?
I'm gonna go with Jay-Z.
Ooh, look at you answering
A
now.
little piece. Little piece.
I'm going with you. And then I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna come with you too
You better pause on that.
on this one. And y'all can say it at the same time if y'all want. Big Pun or Biggie Smalls?
Steve, you go first.
I'm going. I just have to say it. He's my heart. Pun.
I'll say Biggie.
Okay.
Who are you gonna say?
Did I technically do that?
I mean, who are you gonna say?
No, we're not gonna.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm taking a shot.
No. I mean, if you
Steve's questions aren't really fair. I mean, you're making him choose between loud
listen,
artists.
I think you gotta be honest.
Yeah.
Good.
I think no. Look, I mean, obviously I can't speak for you in your mind.
No, you can't.
But when we telling our guests to have their criteria,
Yeah.
Pun was very close to you. So by that criteria,
That's what.
Yeah, but I wouldn't let that change my decision. I kind of think that they both lived a short career. Like they both had so much more to go. So I would say both. Like,
but we're not really talking about careers because remember we're telling the guests it's
Yeah,
whatever
that-
your criteria is.
that's my criteria.
That's your criteria, the careers.
What do you mean? I've been doing this so many years. That's my criteria.
I just noticed right now.
But don't we expect Steve to favor those artists
Of course.
whose careers
Yeah, of course.
that he
Absolutely.
guided?
But that's what
And
I said.
that's why he's been so
Of course.
great guiding those careers.
Yeah, I think the only hard questions for Steve are not a loud artist versus someone else. It's when it's 2 loud artists.
Yeah, so that's why we're gonna go to this one.
Ooh, this,
Project Pat or Little Flip.
It's just not fair. You're killing him.
Project Pat.
wow, you picked.
Flip a motherfucker.
And there
up the
has to be a
Project Pat,
reason
too.
in there that you picked.
Yeah. I mean, Flip was the last artist I signed to Loud before they kicked me out. So I had the record with him, but with Project Pat and Hypnotized Minds and 3-6, I don't think you guys realize.
Was Project Pat first before 36 Mafia?
No, 3-6 came first.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
It went to Project.
Pat and Juicy are brothers, right?
Like real blood brothers?
Like not blood related,
Not
blood brothers.
I'm almost positive they're blood brothers.
Wow. Project Pat.
Google it. Ask why you sitting there like
He said,
we don't
said
want
he
Steve
is the
Rifkind to go
father.
somewhere. They be like, oh, Steve didn't know. Okay, so we're gonna Google this motherfucker. We got technology.
When you
But we had, we had 2 monster records
right.
with Pat,
Chicken.
and then he got in trouble.
You're right.
So
And what else?
Then he got in trouble.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
Pat's older brother.
Really?
Wow, I never knew that. I found that.
See, Sonny, what I do for you?
Yo.
Listen,
Take a shot for no reason.
I'm taking.
No, I'm gonna take a shot too.
See, no, don't. I don't know why I don't want. I'm like, no, don't drink,
His
Steve.
name. I just always love his name.
Who, Project Pat?
Anybody got named Project Pat? He's telling you where he's coming from, and he definitely don't give a damn.
So we should call you Flea Market Sonny.
A state sale, Sonny. A state sale, Sonny.
But listen, I'm not taking anything away from Flip.
Flip is an ill hustler, bro. He's an ill artist too.
When BET honored me, a few years ago, Flip came.
Flip was there. We were there.
Yeah, Flip.
Yeah. That's what we won. That's the year we won. Yeah.
Pat came. 3-6 came. So
Nah, Flip is dope.
no, Flip. So I'm just
Flip is
saying.
dope.
I mean,
He's a Drink Champ alumni. Okay. We'll move on.
You got it.
French
ready.
Montana or Rick Ross?
French Montana.
You explain why if you
He
want.
said it
If
quickly.
you don't have
Too
to.
bunny style.
I don't know. Maybe it's a cop out. I have a personal relationship with him, so I just connect him in a different way. I love Rick Ross, but I've seen French in the studio. I kind of been there. I just have different experiences. For me, these questions aren't just like who's a better lyricist.
No. We actually respect both people we always mention or
Yeah.
the entities.
we love both people.
It's about just having these conversations
Yeah,
and
for me,
having
it's
these people
everything,
in the
like-
conversation.
Who do I connect with on some kind of level? Nas to me is cheating because that album to me just is the greatest. So most questions will be him. French I know as a person. I've hung out. I've seen him record. So I just feel it in a different way.
Yeah, y'all look like y'all go to the same karate class for some reason. You the French Montana.
Basically, with Ralph Markfield.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
I got the next one.
Okay, go ahead. My bad. Jesus.
All right, Steve. UGK or Outkast? No excuses.
You're getting much harder questions than me.
I'm gonna say Outkast.
Okay. Any reason why?
I mean, they won album of the year. It was a double album,
Yeah, I forgot.
and LA and Face are like brothers to me. So I was just closer to them. That's all.
L.A. Reid and Babyface.
Yeah.
Okay. I like how you seldomly say some of the.
He threw the executive reason why.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
The artist cool.
That was smooth.
My executive here.
That was smooth. That was smooth right there. Go ahead.
He could have said Kenny,
No,
which
this
would have
is
been
all
even
you
more.
right
All
here.
right. Because I'm gonna ask y'all both, but I'm gonna start with you. So I think I know your answer already. Illmatic or Ready to Die?
Illmatic.
Illmatic.
Illmatic too, but Illmatic, Ready to Die, and Reasonable Doubt is always a fun and difficult conversation because there's no wrong answer. It's
I don't think it is no wrong answer.
no,
Anything that has to do with Nas, you go with Nas.
I said Nas, but I mean all three, and I threw in a third. Wait, didn't Kendrick just post something about Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic?
Yeah, I saw. I don't know if it.
Yeah,
just
he said
happened, but I
Reasonable
saw
Doubt.
something,
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. He put Reasonable Doubt over Illmatic. I saw something of
Yeah,
that.
he was like, unfollow me.
I
if
don't
you
know
want.
where that came from.
But-
I think it was a Twitter post or something.
I think
Sorry for cutting you off. My street team, my New York street team, would have fights in the office about Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic. But
In the era when Buddha was in this.
it was Buddha, Gabi, and OJ.
Shout out to all those guys,
it was all of them. And
Definitely Brooklyn stuff.
they literally would go at each other. And when Reasonable Doubt came, they did that independently.
Yeah.
So but that wasn't the question though, right?
No, but this is
it-
a great conversation
Yeah,
regardless.
yeah.
I brought up Reasonable Doubt because
yeah,
I just feel like
yeah.
it's the third.
But at the end of the day, Biggs, Jay, and Dame, they did that shit themselves. They didn't have a Sony muscle. They didn't have.
Because that was what? Freeze and Priority originally?
Yeah, it was Freeze and
Wasn't it Priority?
Priority, yeah.
It's crazy that you think that three masterpieces that really just kind of changed everything,
I agree.
all came out in a consolidated amount of time. I mean, two of them were 94, right? And one was 96.
And because Reasonable Doubt was 96.
Yeah. So 94, 96, but it's just, to me, crazy when these conversations happen. I think all the answers are the right answers, because when you talk about these three, there's no wrong. It's like Off the Wall and Thriller. Like, there's no wrong answer there.
Me personally, let me just reiterate kind of what you were saying earlier. Illmatic changed my life, like, personally. But so did the others, but in a different way. But Illmatic was the first time I identified with rap music, when I knew what this guy was talking about without me having to even be there. Like, just listening to that, I was like, what the fuck? Like, the way he was describing certain things, I was just like,
related to it.
Yeah, I was so there. I was so there. Okay, you want to go to the next one?
I haven't made one person drink, by the way. I haven't. You drank, but not because of me.
Yeah.
I haven't said both once.
All right, hold on.
He drank because of you.
So let me ask this one. Now you're going to make him drink. Fat Joe or Ja Rule?
Yeah.
Let him drink. Let him drink.
They're gonna take it personal. I'm just.
He got to take a shot of that honey.
Don't cancel your residency. Just get a drink.
I'm trying to sell tickets, ladies and gentlemen. Drink away.
Cheers.
Great answer. Because, they just did verses, too. Remember back then. So, yeah. And the hair together, that's good.
You knew you were getting me there.
Yes.
If you come with Slick Rick or Dougie Fresh, you're getting the same answer.
Let's go with that then. You drank your shit, right?
Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. Yeah. Let's drink.
All right, let's drink. Right. Okay.
I'm not giving this question to Steve because I feel like I know he'll go with it.
Okay.
Cassidy, Beating Us or the Alcoholics?
Yes. Oh, shit.
I would say Beat Nuts.
Okay.
Because as a DJ,
you stay in New York. Let's just be honest. You very New York heavy.
They had two songs, Off the Books and Watch Out Now, which were big DJ records. They were big club party songs. Beat Nuts had two big party songs.
And they started as a very hardcore group.
Yeah,
but they had some big.
Was that Pun's first published verse?
Yeah. I think that's what his big.
I believe it is.
His big hit, his first hit.
But the great thing about both groups, even though I really talk basketball, I have to go baseball here.
Okay.
Like the Alcoholics, the number 2 hitter and the number 6 hitter are so fucking important.
Yes.
Right? And to me, like, I knew what I was going to get with both groups. I knew I was going to sell 300 and something thousand records.
What's your group?
With the Licks and the Beat Nuts. I knew they were just going to get on base.
They gonna get on, that's exactly what I was.
They were just going to get on base, and somebody else was going to bring them.
But the Licks were first for you.
Yeah, I inherited the Beat Nuts.
Right, with 3-6 and all that.
Yeah,
right.
But at the end of the day, I knew what I had. It was like putting like the Yankees together, right? So
they get on base.
What label were they on first? Relativity?
Relativity, yep.
Relativity.
Yep.
Well, Beat Nuts was on Relativity.
Yeah, that's to say. I inherited.
Fat Joe was on Relativity as well, right?
Both amazing legendary groups.
Hip-hop fucking history.
Nah,
You closed out a baseball roster, 1 through 9.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what he did.
I always loved when a hip-hop group that wasn't known for making party records made one just by chance.
Of course.
Because it was so natural. And
yeah, it's organic.
You got the sense no one was trying to make a club record or a party record or anything that crossed over in any way. But with those two records, it was just like this organic.
Well, the Beat Nuts were dope producers themselves.
Yeah, and they were they were twins. One's East Coast, one's West Coast. I
felt the same way. Alcohol? No. But he's not saying they're literally twins.
No, he'd say one from one place and one.
But they would have seen.
One's from the East Coast, one's from the West Coast.
And then what?
Said, right?
From the same mama?
Yeah. No, like they have two different vibes. They both produce the rap.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, they were both they were both self-contained, but the Licks on the West Coast, Make Room, Only When I'm Drunk, Next Level, were tremendous club records.
Yep. And coming from King T, like that whole lineage was crazy.
Okay, so I'm sending this to you, Cassidy. Timberland or Swiss Beats?
Swiss.
Oh, it's fast.
Cassidy be going pew 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 pew.
He's not playing. He's not trying to get you drunk at all.
I mean, I'm fucked up already. I don't know. We were waiting for 17 hours today.
By the way, I wanted to announce that too. Rappers, we have so much of a bad name are coming late.
Yeah.
Today we had one of the famousest DJs in the world and one of the biggest executives in the world, and they were both late.
But the weather was
rappers,
hot.
we are gonna stop this getting this bad slack.
For the record, there's
the record.
5 feet of water.
Cassidy,
outside.
just take it. Just take it.
Cassidy, but we were all here though. You gotta go.
That is very true, and I still don't understand how you guys were
You know
here.
what the amazing
We
thing
have
is? though?
submarines.
You know
I
what's
was in a
amazing?
flood of
all-
5 feet of water.
His sneakers are still fucking spotless.
Yes.
Did you see it?
Well, see, that's the difference. All of our sneakers are wet. You see?
How about the silk suit?
We are literally in the trenches.
That's it.
Yeah, you to the next one.
Let me see, Parker. What is the next one? Artifacts or cellar dwellers?
Cellar dwellers.
Because they were on loud.
Yeah, because I mean,
Cellar dwellers.
I mean, they're both dope.
Okay.
But
I would have said
Advance to Boardwalk.
All right. Funk Flex or DJ Clue?
Funk Flex.
I like that.
Flex on more.
You know, I
Flex
like
on
how you,
like-
I
Flex
like
on
how
more
you let me
records.
explain answers, but I haven't explained the past few. But
You said you sold more records?
Explain the answers for Funk Flex and Clue. I would love that.
Yeah.
what was the last one I wanted to explain? I guess it's past the point. Swizz and Tim. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
But I'll explain Flex and Clue.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. You can explain both. If you want. It's okay. We waited for you all day.
Yeah, we got 17 hours. I gotta wait for my shoes to get dry.
We've been here 3 hours.
I've only told you one White House story. There's many, many more to go.
Okay,
One involving the song "Fight the Power." We can come back to that later.
Yes.
So, what are we talking about? Oh, Flex and Clue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So both are friends of mine and mentors of mine. Came before me. Looked up to both. Flex just symbolizes something that is, you know, to me growing up, it was like Hulk Hogan and Funkmaster Flex.
Wow.
I always compare Flex to Hulk Hogan. You know how in the WWF they kept on taking the belt away, like they kept trying to take the belt away from Hulk, and whoever they made champion couldn't be champion. Ultimate Warrior, he just wasn't Hulk. Macho Man, he just wasn't Hulk. Ric Flair, he just wasn't Hulk.
But he had Rolexes and limos.
Woo!
Yes.
No one is Funkmaster Flex.
Mm-hmm.
It's why since I was in the 6th grade, I still hear the same voice on the radio. How uncanny is that? Think of how hip-hop music has changed from 1993 to 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the person at the helm of it in New York City is the same voice.
Yeah.
How insane is that? And he defies everything that everyone always thinks about hip-hop. It's a young man's game. You know, there's a revolving door. You know, everything that's everyone said over the years. It's not really true in every sense at all.
Not true.
It's not, but people say it. But isn't he like one of the greatest examples of how that's not true?
Absolutely.
And so for me, there's, you know, hard to get a ticket.
Yeah. You know what? You know what's crazy? I recently went to New York twice. Like just, you know, since, you know, we work out here. And I literally sometimes can't enjoy my city unless I listen to Flex on the radio. And I see him tear it down. Absolutely. I love if there's a hit record that he's playing, he tells people to pull over. I love when he told people, go in the cash register. I was like, wait a minute, this might be too far. But yeah, I love that. That makes me feel like I'm back home.
Yeah.
Passionate.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's home.
I love Clue too. Don't get it twisted. I love Clue too.
I love Clue, and Clue changed the game in many ways that no one else did.
No, as a
from
mixtape,
mixtapes,
DJ, come on, man.
mixtape,
He
and then to
killed-
albums,
he
of
killed
course,
the game.
too.
Right.
But you know, what you just said is so surreal. He's like the voice of home.
Like when he says pull over, sometimes I pull over. Like I literally listen. He'd be like, pull over New York City. I'd be like, oh shit, fuck it. I'll sit down. He'll say something crazy like, don't rock out your window. I'm like, hey. I listen to it. It's so. I remember where it was Drake and Meek was battling, right? And this was like the first Kendrick and You know,
Yeah.
Kendrick and Drake is now the biggest battle.
The big battle.
That was the biggest battle ever. But at this point, Meek and Drake was the biggest. And I remember Flex saying, yo, I got this record. I literally missed my flight. I was like, I can't get on the. This is before like Wi-Fi was on a plane and shit like that. I could have still caught my flight like an idiot. I'm at the airport. I'm damn near down the block.
This is when you flew commercial.
Yeah, that was in my commercial. But listen, I was like, yo, I said, hold up, I can't get on this flight. Knowing how, you know, hip hop just feels without. I gotta listen to both of these shits going on. Come to find out, Flex ain't have no record. Yo, oh my God, I missed the flight. It was everything, but it meant so much. Even if I probably would have been offered, yo, just listen to the app on the flight. You know, you have Wi-Fi. Even if I would have been offered that, I probably wouldn't have wanted to do it because you know why? I wanted to be in the city listening to it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a different feeling.
It's a different feeling.
And Flex has always gave me that. Like,
it's a different feeling. On Christmas Eve, he plays classics and he uses only vinyl and he brings vinyl up to the station. He's done it for over 10 years. And I
didn't know that.
And I rarely miss a Christmas Eve. And that, for some reason, hearing him play hip hop from the 70s and 80s and soul music from the 70s and 80s now feels like Christmas Eve to me because it's really, that music is really the sound of celebration.
Wow.
That's probably why I would imagine he chose that night to play that music. And, you know, I moved to LA 6 years ago and I've listened to that on Sonos. And to compliment what you just said, it's not the same. You got to be there.
You got to be there. You got to be in that city. There. You got to like look at the guy with the Frank stand. You know what I mean? You got to look at the guy, you know, that's walking by selling peanuts. You know what I mean? Like that shit is like, I immediately get mad when I go back to New York City. You have to. we have a certain type of anger that comes with the city. And if you don't, if you got to be a little bit mad when you land back, you got to just look at somebody, you know, because and if not, the city will eat you up, man. It's a beautiful, negative, most beautifulest place on the earth. But that energy, you have to match it. You cannot not be a lion in the lion's cage.
Well said.
Even if you're not a lion, why you in that lion's cage? You better act like it.
Act like it.
Great
and
story,
then get your ass out of there because you ain't trying for that. But all right, cool. Let's go. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, man.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, definitely. You take this
podcast or radio.
I'm with you guys. Podcast.
Radio.
And by the way,
yeah, you just want to be the outlier.
Let me just point out that you're the first person that I ever see take a shot of honey. like, did you plan this out?
No,
like,
but that shot takes 2 hours to get down.
I'm losing my voice, so I asked the hotel for these little jars of honey.
Oh, so you knew this was happening.
I knew I was.
So it's not my weed. It's not. I'm not fucking you up like that. All right, cool.
No.
I'm thinking. I'm like, yo, man, this is not right. The fans are gonna look at this shit and be like, what is Nori doing? DJ Cassidy, man. Like, all right, cool. All right, so all right, he's so everyone knows Nori did not try to smoke him the fuck out. No, he already knew his voice was cracking. He had pre-honey. I never see somebody with pre-honey. That shit is fucking fantastic. I ain't gonna lie. I might steal your idea. Get you publishing on it though. Okay. I'm gonna give it to you.
Really? Okay.
3-6 Mafia or 8-Ball MJG?
You're giving him very tough, loud, affiliated questions.
3-6.
And I'm going to you too.
3-6.
Okay. This is definitely you. Brand Nubian or Tribe Called Quest?
Tribe Called Quest.
Damn, you just rapid fire.
I'm very definitive in my hip hop emotions.
Would you like to explain it? Because I know you didn't like that.
I could explain that.
You could. Can you please?
Yeah, my other favorite album of all time is Midnight Marauders.
Okay, wow.
That's a hard.
So they're not going to lose too many questions.
Okay. Where was you at when you first heard Midnight Marauders?
I was 12. I'm about the same age as Illmatic, maybe a year younger. I think you can tell, like, kind of the era people grew up in many cases by what their favorite hip hop albums are, because my 3 came out in like a 3-year time span. The third is Cuban Links.
Wow. Well, great point. Yeah, they definitely been setting you up all night. By the way, it's your friend Mr. Lee who fucking writes these questions, so don't look at me. Mr. Lee and Hazardous Sound.
I know you pretty good.
Exhibit or Rascal?
Oh, you're really doing this, Sam. This is not...
This is this guys. That's what God.
I mean, they're best friends. They're extremely close, but you don't go with,
You going with the X?
Yeah. Do you remember when me and X had an argument?
No.
And me and you would come by the office to say hello?
Oh, okay. You more back then. I think you meant recently. I'm
Nah.
like, damn, you had an argument yesterday?
Nah.
What the fuck happened? No, Jesus.
You really haven't given Steve the hardest one of this category.
Okay. What do you think?
What question
If you don't
is that?
go there, I kind of want to throw it out there.
Yeah, throw it out there. You want to take over the
just
show
go.
for a second?
Do it now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask the 3 of you:
Okay.
EFN, Raekwon, or Ghostface.
Both.
Okay, shot.
I'm proud to take both of that. They are both
Because
my
only
brothers.
Noah Cuban Link is really both.
Wait, we're getting there.
Okay.
Don't give up your answer yet. We're waiting for you. This is opening act right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it the same question?
Same question. Nori,
Yeah.
Raekwon the Chef, or Ghostface Killer?
No, I just said both. That's why I took the shot.
You said both already.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
what that means. The shot is
Okay.
taken. Yeah. I said both.
Steve Rifkind.
I'm saying both.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we drank for
I
it.
mean, that really,
You drink?
that really
All right.
wasn't a hard question. That's like saying which kid you like better.
Right.
Okay, that's fair.
For me, it's like saying which foot you like better.
Yeah.
I like them both, motherfucker.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Make on.
Ask me another one. We like another.
Okay, Nori,
Yes.
Premier, or Pete Rock?
Okay. Got me.
Dang.
Yeah, we fuck.
And I'm taking it back. I'm gonna give you one more, and I'm taking this shit back.
Okay.
And
Do we ask the same question to others or
You
no?
can ask a different one. Go ahead.
But could I ask the same to you? I'm curious what you would say.
He took a shot already.
No, I didn't. But I would
But you
take a
didn't
shot.
say your
I
answer.
would take a shot. I'd say
take a
both.
shot.
You say both. Steve,
Both.
DJ Premier, Pete Rock.
Both.
Both.
I definitely got the next one.
All right, can I do one more?
Yeah, please go. One more round for you.
Yes, three. Three's my lucky number, so we can do 3.
Okay, Nori,
Man, you're holding on to that.
Rakim, or Big Daddy Kane?
Okay. Got me again.
yeah, that's what the game is about.
I'm not gonna fight you.
What was it? What was it again?
Bro, I killed my Big Daddy Kane.
That's what the game is about.
Okay, now it's back to me.
I pass the mic back.
Digital or analog?
As a DJ or a listener?
It's your criteria. You can play
okay,
this game
okay.
all night.
Digital.
Okay.
I just like having more songs with me. There's so much I like about vinyl better,
Right.
but having 1,000,000 songs is better than having 1,000.
You don't miss.
Like, you couldn't have went to-
miss you in the crack.
I missed a lot.
You couldn't have went to Jay-Z and Beyonce's wedding with vinyl.
Oh no, I
Because
did. I went all over the world with vinyl.
Because they used only one guest invited, right? They used only you.
Well, I would have had to carry my own crates.
You'd have carried your own.
I
crate.
did that for many years.
God damn it. Let's make some noise for that.
Any DJ that was worth anything carried their own crates for a while.
Eight crates in the trunk of a New York taxi, one in the front, one in the back. You could bring 8 crates in a cab.
Put that in the encyclopedia.
No, I didn't do it in a
I ain't
cab.
gonna lie.
I ain't doing it in a cab though.
That's horrible.
Damn. I don't even like that's
So 6.
yeah, because I'm trying to
6 in the trunk, one in the front, one in the back. But it took 5 cabs to get one that let you do that.
my friend Diego couldn't even bring a pizza in here today.
He fell. He said I slipped and I fell
What
down.
happened if you brought a friend?
I fall and I can't get up.
Pizza and
You see 2
carry
people in the
8
back
crates
and
by
the
yourself?
crates the third person. So listen to this. One night we were
He
talking.
called JP. This is the strongest guy here. One of the strongest guys here. Hey, I need help with the pizza. What the pizza?
One of the strongest guys here.
I said, wait a
Strong
minute.
guy, man.
And you carry 8 crates in a New York City taxi cab? Can you look at my friend Diego and tell him what the hell is going on with him?
Well, in many instances in New York, you know, they would block the street off. So we talked about Cheetah, for instance, right?
Yes, I love Cheetah.
So Cheetah was on 21st Street between 5th and 6th Avenues.
Sure was.
So if the club was extra poppin', they would barricade the whole street on 5th Avenue and 6th Avenue. And Cheetah was smack in between 5th and 6th.
Right.
So I would walk out of there at 4:30 and no cars could get through to the club. So I was carrying a crate at a time to 5th Avenue and had someone watch them while I went back and got the rest.
So before Cheetah, there was a club called Private Eyes.
On Sound, 45th Street.
No, 21st Street, Private Eyes, right?
Okay, my bad.
And
I got too excited.
Wasn't there a strip club later on?
yeah, VIP down the road.
Let me calm myself down. Yeah.
But
Okay. Private Eyes.
Private Eyes, and it was the first video club.
What does that mean?
The club was full of all videos. They would, what he did, like would pass the mic.
Right.
It was
Recorded.
It was the DJ would play, and they would
What
end the
year?
video.
Play,
What
yeah.
year was that?
83.
Damn, that far
84,
back?
85. Yeah.
With in sync with the DJ, the video's playing.
Yeah, like it was. I mean, it was amazing, and the most beautiful woman in the world with it.
A crazy thing about Steve is, you know, much of the public associates Steve with Loud Records and hip hop, New York hip hop.
Team. That's awesome. Wu-Tang.
But Steve could tell you a place and time in a story for every classic R&B record. You know,
Really?
I do fancy myself somewhat of an encyclopedia. There's of course people who could, you know, top me. But every record I ever play or love or mentioned or was on, you know, on the show, past the mic, Steve worked the record as a 20-year-old, or Steve brought the record to Frankie Crocker, or some crazy story that Steve was involved. He's like the Forrest Gump of like R&B promotion of the early 80s.
Well, we kind of already found out with this new edition added story with you.
There's always something new.
It's not the last question for the interview, but this is the last question for Quick Time with Slime.
Okay.
I'm not going to lead the witness. Don't lead the witness, right?
Don't lead the witness, bro.
This is to both of y'all. You can answer at the same time. You can answer.
You have to look away when you ask the question
I
because you
won't.
don't lead the witness.
Loyalty or respect?
Loyalty.
Same.
Please, we need both explanations why.
For me, I grew up. If you weren't loyal,
Right.
you'll be swimming somewhere.
Man, you be swimming with the fishes.
Oh, wow. Some intimidation. I like it. And
Listen, not for nothing, Steve, but you've been giving Marlansky vibes the whole time we've been here right now.
Always.
So we know, bro. We know.
Steve Gotti.
Shout out to your family, bro.
Dale, cabrón.
I think loyalty precedes respect. If you're not loyal to people,
But
who's
why
going
can't
to
people
respect
pick
you?
both? This is the thing.
That's
You can't pick both, right?
But this is the thing. Why
I
we
thought
think
the
it's
goal of
crazy.
the game was to not say both.
No, it's not the goal.
I thought the
It's
goal was
whatever.
to make decisive decisions.
It's decisive for you. Whatever is decisive. What is your
Right.
decisive?
Right.
Right.
So I'm saying it's not both.
It's kind
Okay, no, I get it. But wouldn't both in this situation be the ideal situation? This is why I'm always confused.
Yeah, but I thought you have to choose one or the other. If you could only have one.
No, but you've been choosing two. Well, not you, but Steve's been going crazy with
Hold
two.
on a second. Hold on a second. Every single pair you've mentioned, not one of us have disliked the other. It was always which you
All
like
respect,
more.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So respect, loyalty. It's which one if you could only have one.
But they're two different things, to be honest with you.
But if you had, if you could ideally have both, you would have
That's the
both.
one. That's the one time.
That's why I can't imagine.
wanna
why
have
that's not the game.
Nobody
I
ever
wanna have
says
both.
People say both of all the questions.
Well, then I
But when
would
it
have said
comes to
both
this,
on everything.
They have a hard time saying one.
Well, because you
both.
guys
No, I don't
encourage
think you can say
choose
both.
something.
I think
He's been around for a long time. He said they're two different things. I wanna hear it.
I don't want to hear you right now in the situation.
they're two different blocks.
I like it.
At the end of the day, you could respect somebody and not be loyal to them,
Right.
and you could be loyal to somebody and not respect them.
But if you live in a great world where you could say, "Hey, I want you to be loyal and respect me."
I would love for the whole world to be loyal to me, to respect me, to do. But at the end of the day, how I grew up, it's about loyalty.
Yeah.
You always got to go into somebody's house.
What's funny is we often get respect more than loyalty. Right? That's what we often get.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
I would say like a 55.
Nah, I'd say more people say I would prefer they respect me because they say loyalty, people can.
Has its limits, they say.
Right.
But respect comes from qualities that people respect about you.
If you look at Rock Nation or any group, or, you know, if it's Kevin Hart's company, Jay's company,
Right.
they're all so loyal to each other. It's a beautiful thing to watch. I mean, it really is. The reason why Loud One, we were a team, you know, from the art. I mean, 30 years ago, like I still have a relationship with Joe. I mean, when I was gone for 35 minutes, I was on the phone with RZA.
You don't have to stun on us like that, but okay.
No, but
Okay, you were taking a shit and talking to Riz at the same time. I get it.
No, let me say something. After the BET Hip Hop Awards that you were part of 2 years ago, Loud was honored, right?
Yeah.
And you guys were there.
They won.
Did
They
Drink
won an
Champs
award.
on the show.
We won 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
We won.
Amazing. So after the awards, we went to dinner. I
You
think
was there.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you were there. You were there. Okay, so Fat Joe made a little speech.
Yep.
And he said something about Steve that was so dead on that encapsulizes Steve to me. He said, first of all, who gets 10 or more of their former artists to show up for a tribute? Then he said, who gets them to rehearse? Then he said, who gets them to rehearse the day before and the day of? And then he said, who gets them to rehearse the day before and the day of and say nothing but nice things?
Yep. It's fantastic. We was there to witness it. Hold on, let me use it back. Go ahead.
We were definitely there.
Let me tell you a funny story. So, I mean, Pastor Mike is really, it's his baby. Like,
Right.
I'm an uncle or a grandfather, right? So, when I really disagree with him on something, my fiance, she knows how to communicate, right? It takes me 2 weeks. I'll scream at him for 2 weeks, tell him to go fuck himself, hang up the phone. I mean,
Yeah.
I won't talk to him like,
Very
because
true.
I gotta get myself ready, knowing I gotta give myself 2 weeks because I know how he's gonna come back with the fucking thing. No, when he has a vision, there's no fucking way you could change his mind. So I got to come with every fucking fact possible.
Like reason to
right? And Aaliyah, she really knows how to communicate well. So
your wife, that's your wife.
fiance, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like rehearsing every fucking day for 2 weeks, pacing back and forth in my bedroom to go at this motherfucker.
Damn.
He's in.
So it's very rarely that you're going to win a debate with him. You have to go a different way around.
So I don't.
He hasn't found the way.
No, I just said there's no fucking way.
Listen, I don't think you really answered when I asked you, like, that moment, those things, that moment that really. I know you said there's many moments,
Right, it's hard.
that got
broke
you.
it down.
But but there has to be this pivotal thing that happened between a moment that you're just this DJ kid and then you become this other
man.
thing.
Again, I know it's not a cop-out of an answer. There was like a 5-year span from age,
An era. for
yeah,
you.
age 17 to 23 or 18 to 17 to 22 or 18 to 23, maybe a 5-year span where every opportunity really snowballed into the next. And all those things, from the school parties to the internships, to the first celebrity seeing me DJ, all led to what came next. And everyone heard me at someone else's party and ended up calling me. And by the time I was in my low 20s, I became known for playing not only celebrities parties, but hip hop celebrities parties. And I think over the years when I get asked most, like, why do you think that happened? Why did you end up the guy at that time in your life playing for the heavyweights of hip hop? And I always, I hate answering that question because I don't like speaking for the people who called on me. The truth is only they know. But
Right.
I think the real answer is why I was the DJ that all these hip hop heavyweights was calling was because of soul music. I don't think any of them were necessarily like a Jay-Z, attracted to me because of the way I played hip hop. Now, I'd like to think I played hip hop just great. Yes, right. Immaculately. But I think what that one special draw was how I played the soul music of the 70s and 80s. And that music wasn't how I started. I was a hip hop kid. I thought very early on in life, I thought that to fully embrace hip hop, you had to hate everything else.
Right.
I thought that to really be a part of hip hop, you had to hate rock and roll and everything else.
When hip hop is sampling all of this.
And so we talked about Kool Herc, Africa Bambaataa, and Grandmaster Flash earlier. Yep. And remember when I said I knew what they looked like, but I didn't know about them. So once I was a little older, 12, 13, 14, and I learned about them, I learned that they weren't playing hip-hop music because there was no hip-hop music. They were creating what became hip-hop music through playing R&B, soul, funk, disco, rock and roll, Latin music, and all kinds of music. And that fascinated me and made me want to be this encyclopedia of music. And that journey led me to the soul music of the 70s and 80s, which in many ways became not what I played everywhere for everyone, but in many ways became my signature sound.
Can I say something? Mm-hmm. I threw a party at my house after the BET Awards. Was it 2007?
Around.
And I must have had 500 of my closest friends at my house.
Well, and I mean, name some of these closest friends.
I mean, I'm joking.
The most famous people in the world.
The most famous people in the world. Like the Who's, not the B list, not the C list. The A from Barbra Streisand on down.
Jesus.
At the house, right? So he was the DJ. So
then.
No, it was 2000. It was 2007. It was the BET. It was an after party. The party started at 2:00 in the morning, and it went to 10:00 in the morning. Quincy Jones came up to me, who was like a father to me. He says, "Where's Barbara?" I'm like, "Barbara who?" And he goes, "Barbra Streisand." I go, "She's here?" He goes, "Yeah, she was just over there. Where'd she go?"
That's what I'm saying.
No, she's there.
No, I mean, it was the craziest thing. And again, before he got here, when I talked about how he just curates, he had those 500 people. When I'm saying Lil Wayne, that was the day his album came where he scanned over 1 million units. From Lil Wayne on down to every major basketball player. I mean, and he had, when I'm saying that whole fucking house in the palm of his hands. But I did get him one time, not in 2007. He says he was never been punked before. But again, right? And again, it took me a month to set this up.
Do they know the background of your pranks?
No, you have to tell them.
I mean, you got to give, otherwise it makes no sense.
I mean, I'll go into death to get somebody. Like
he's famous for this.
For pranking.
Big, expensive.
The original punks guy?
Yeah.
So, remember, before he was here, I said I gave him a record deal. He had O'Neill McKnight signed to his label, and we do this record. And we were talking about something where he goes, "I'll never be punked." It's like, all right. So a month later, I invite him out to LA to have dinner at my house. I hired 10 stuntmen to come through the glass windows and to kidnap us.
Break them?
They
were going to tie us up.
Right? I was going to spend $75,000 to get his ass. So,
So we go over to the house, we have some drinks, we sit down for dinner, there's a chef.
And for whatever reason, my head of security, and we're literally, I'm here, he's right there, comes and he goes, I'm doing a walk. And he dropped the gun, right? Which wasn't part of the prank. And he just puts his gun right on the table.
You set him out.
He passed out.
I wasn't ready.
He saved me 75 grand. I didn't have to like
Stop the prank.
Never happened. It never happened.
Well, that was the prank. Holy shit.
they were literally going to
He burst out laughing. He couldn't even tell the story for a half an hour. And he said, I have 10 people outside ready to tie us up and kidnap us.
And this was going to be on the real blog?
No.
Okay.
This was
Steve's on the
Oh my God.
No, not that. Holy fuck.
Hey, I'm taking a shot for that.
This is a
You
shot.
don't got a shot?
No, this is my shot. Oh, yeah, I do got a
Yeah,
shot.
By the way, big up to these new Monster Cups. They kind
I'll
of
get big.
Monster
Shout out to Monster, bro.
Definitely. Shut up.
I think we did it.
all right.
We did it.
Yeah, I believe so.
We did it, guys. We did it. Maynard Storm.
Let's talk to the people one more time. When is the residency start?
So DJ Cassidy's, and excuse this voice, it won't be like this in July.
Right.
DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic Live, the iconic Las Vegas residency, starring Nightly.
Hold on.
Starring Nightly, Ja Rule,
Hey!
Fat Joe,
Hey!
Slick Rick,
Hey!
Dougie Fresh,
Hey!
with special guests,
Hey!
Break One the Chef,
Hey!
Ghostface Killer,
Hey!
Public Enemy,
Hey!
Akon,
Hey!
Jermaine Dupri,
Hey!
DeBrad,
Hey!
Too Short,
Hey!
Warren G,
Hey!
and special surprise guests. This July at the Back Theater at Planet Hollywood. Tickets on sale right now on Ticketmaster. And every night really is going to be a groundbreaking, trailblazing musical experience that we honestly think is going to redefine the Las Vegas residency.
If you trust my taste in the artists that I signed,
Mobb Deep.
and no, but I'm just saying in general, this show,
like Tourette's over here.
this show is just as special as every artist that I signed. I would not have stick my neck out to Live Nation and to Ron Lafitte to say we got to get this thing done. And shout out to Sid at Live Nation.
Hell
And by the way, I just want y'all to know this is how important they are to us. We risk our life coming out tonight.
I almost drowned.